Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast episode 139. We had to wait for Miss Click to get here because she was running all late.
Sorry, I was stuck in traffic, aka the drive-through.
The drive-through. Which drive-through? Where was this?
Sonic,
Chick-fil-A, always.
Chick-fil-A.
I had a free sandwich coupon, so.
Oh, well, yeah, you got to use that. Okay, no,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, that makes sense. All right, we're good. We have our guest tonight, Rob, Rule of Two Review, joining us tonight. How's it going, man?
Yay!
Yes, good, yay! Thank you for having me back. It's been a while. Stoked to be on and chat about some stuff.
Good to have you on. Then we have, let's see, starting from the top, Evan. What's going on, Evan?
Busy as always.
We have MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer. How's it going, man?
Well, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I like the Xbox shirt. Where'd you get that from?
Thank you. I bought it like around E3 time when they were having like merch sales and stuff at E3. So I thought it was a cool shirt.
Nice. Then I think Nate. We haven't heard Nate say anything, right? Like at all. Is Nate? Are you there, Nate?
All right, Banjo Kazooie, nice.
Oh man, we're gonna need that energy when you're telling us about how Stadia is. And we got Jordan. Yeah, Jordan's with us. What's going on, Jordan?
Glad to be here. Doing well.
Good to have you here. Sean still has his green screen. How's it going, Sean?
Good, just hanging out in outer space.
He's the very
So
tiny
small.
person on your screen.
You know, you could still make yourself big and have that background, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
I
Just
think
make
that's
a design choice.
I think that space background is actually like making your computer lag some, Sean.
Really?
It's making it chug.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. What resolution is that space background at? Is that like 4K or something you're trying to play there?
Yeah, maybe. Hold on.
It's got ray tracing.
Just turn it down to like 720p. It'll probably be better. Yeah.
Oh, he's sponsored by Mercedes. Mercedes Gaming.
Then we got Dreamcast guy, Max. What's going on, man? How's it going?
Man, it's been a good week. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. Miss Click is here, late but here. How's it
Sorry.
going? And then OJ Players. What's going on, man?
It's been a good week, man. I'm doing good. How's everybody here?
I think we all survived Black Friday, so I think we're in good shape. We're in good shape.
Full. I'm so full.
In full, yeah. Thanksgiving, and of course Rob with us as our guest. Cool, good to see you, here, Rob. So yes, we had Thanksgiving, we had Black Friday. We're technically on our way to Cyber Monday. But how was everyone's week overall? You guys have fun at Thanksgiving? Take some time off?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Time off.
Best Thanksgiving ever.
That's good. What about
Best ever.
what about games? What do we all play? Play anything good?
You guys want to know about Alien Isolation on the Switch?
Yeah, I did play some of that. I played some of that too.
Not really.
Yeah. That game's interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh, what do you not like it?
It's $35 digital. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
the price.
yeah, it was 60 when it came out on the Xbox One and the PS4.
That's true, but those had physical editions.
Yes.
This one does not.
I was a little
30 I mean,
surprised it's just digital. That's weird.
yeah, digital and 17 gigabytes. You know, obviously, like it's a. I don't know about you, John, but like I was doing some comparisons. Maybe Nate's better at this, but I was just looking afterwards because I never played the original.
Oh, okay. I played it on the
covered it.
Xbox One.
I covered it on my website back in the day. I covered it, but I never played it. So I didn't know exactly what the comparison was. So I went back and looked. It looks pretty comparable. I mean, maybe resolution, but it doesn't.
It looks like it's between the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One version, basically closer to the Xbox One version. I was a little surprised. I was surprised when I turned it on. I was like, wow, this actually looks pretty good overall.
Yeah. The voice acting is good.
The game's awesome.
It is. I love the story, dude. Does the Switch version have the DLC? It has some
it has everything.
fantastic DLC.
It has all
Fantastic.
included.
It has HD Rumble. It has gyro. It has that stuff built in as well. Because I did 30 minutes and I didn't really get to like alien stuff, but then I played a bit more afterwards. And yeah, I can see why people, if you're into horror games, it's really good. The only problem, like I said, is just like if you have other systems, obviously the price, that's one thing, but it's not a bad Switch port. The dudes over at Feral, they're pretty good.
They're doing good. Yeah, they're doing good work. It is a slow burn of a game. Like it takes a while just for the like to actually start like, you know, the big bad to show up. It takes some time.
Not only that, it takes a while to fight back. You spend about 90% of the game running and
run
hiding.
away.
And I like that. It's hide and seek. I love it.
Yeah, it is definitely a horror style game though, which is fun. I mean, you're in space, so obviously there's not much around you that you can do. You just gotta hide in lockers and what's crazy is you'll be in like maybe in like kind of the tunnel trying to crawl away, a crawl space, and it'll grab you out of it. Or it has some really cool scenes where you get killed by the aliens. So it's pretty fun.
And I always love that there's not checkpoints, how you have to manually save each time.
Yes.
Like, I feel like so many horror games have some sort of checkpoint. So it's nice that you actually have to, like, sometimes you just run and hurry up and save with the phone and then die.
Very Resident Evil style, sounds like.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. You're you're very
cool.
powerless in this game. So, but Sean liked it. Sean likes it. You played it. Did you play it before? This is your first shot through it.
No. I played it before. I played it on the Xbox One.
You played it on the 360.
No.
That look.
Xbox One.
Xbox One. Yeah. It was. I mean, what do you seem to like it?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of survival, sort of stealth horror games. So it's right up my alley, and it's a super good port. It looks freaking amazing in handheld mode.
I was gonna say in handheld mode looks really good.
It looks so good.
I was a little surprised on that one, that when you actually put it into handheld mode, there's some stuff in the settings you can play around with. I think it has like the chromatic aberration you can turn down if you want it to look a little sharper.
I usually turn that off. I usually turn that off when they have that option. So yeah,
It has motion controls too.
Yeah, motion and HD rumble. It's a good Switch version of the game from what I played. I'm just not as big on the I'm gonna play through it though. Like I want to play through because everyone talked about this game. I remember covering and doing so many posts on this game because it was a cross gen. Wasn't it a cross gen? It was like
yes, it was Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4.
Yeah,
Well, it was cross-gen, and it was cross-gen, and it was during there was a time where they called it Broketober, where like every week 2 big games came out that year. So it's one of those ones where people are talking about like, this is a game that needs to sell 1 million copies, and I don't know if it will.
Yeah. Well, it was on so many systems, and like everyone was just like bitching that it wasn't on the Wii U. I was like, I don't care. Like, at the time, I was like, I don't care. But I mean, like, the game, it does seem like it's pretty cool, and it seems like it might have been able to use like the tablet, like in a certain type of way, right? Like, it could have been able to use it if they wanted to take advantage of it. But
the map system, maybe. Like there are a few things that probably could have done down there. Yeah,
well, also the radar for sensing aliens, that was like the promise of Colonial Marines that never actually happened on the Wii U. They could have done that. So and that's a game I really wish that I had a chance to play it, man, because the hype when it came out was that it was like a new canon story, like using the original crew from the original movie, which was such a neat idea. Everyone was like, holy crap, it's like all the same characters only in like this 2015 video game. And I never had a chance to get to it. I didn't know that the Switch version had no physical though. So OJ, that was news to me to know that it's digital only. Yeah, it's super disappointing. Yep. Super disappointing.
The file size is just it's bigger than the 16 gigabyte cartridge. So it's like they would have had to do an extra download, but they weren't going to pay for that for how old the port is. I mean, they weren't going to pay for that. So.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's cool that it's a good port, though. It's good to hear.
Good port. No, great port. So you don't have to worry about like the performance of the game. The performance is good. So if that's, if that would be holding you back from picking it up, because it's out next week. So December 5th.
I will say Farrell's done a good job with the 2 ports that I've played from them, with Grid and Alien Isolation so far. So if they get put on a job, it's worth checking out their game just for the port itself being good.
Absolutely.
So
They've been doing a great job. I think there's only about 100 people that work there too, a little bit less. So
yeah, so they're not. I don't think they're taking on a ton of jobs at once, but so far, I mean, so good with what they've done on the Switch. So, but Alien Isolation, that's out next week. That's out on the which day? Which day is that on? Was it the 5th?
Yeah,
5th.
Thursday. Yeah, cool. Yep. So check that out. You said 35 digital only. Let's check it out on the shop.
Digital only. Yeah. 17 gigabytes. 17.1.
Just missed it.
Just 17.1 gigabytes.
So this is fun because last time we were on the podcast, I was the only one that had played Stadia, and now more people have played Stadia. Yeah, you actually bought it, which is hilarious because I gave you the buddy pass, and I was like, no one has to buy it now. You don't have to buy it. You were like, I just bought it.
I just gave Nate the buddy pass, so we're all good.
So Nate has it. Sean, did you get your buddy pass yet, Sean?
Of course not.
Okay.
If someone wants to give me a buddy pass, I'll try it out. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to think of who else would have it.
You can have my buddy pass. I have it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, dude.
Look at all this bromance.
Wow, there's so many buddy passes.
I'll test it, OJ, and I'll give you a shout out in my video to thank you.
Hey, I like
it.
So a lot of people are checking it out now around on the podcast. Nate, you played it a bit. I know MVG, you played it. I'm sure the friends listen. I saw you play a few times on my Stadia. I guess Chromecast Ultra thing.
Yep.
So what'd you think, MVG? You played it in the browser. Did you play it on the Chromecast yet?
I did today. Look, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, maybe the first couple of days, they were having issues, but I think overall the experience is pretty good. I mean, the input lag is actually very, very good. I mean, there's hardly any lag that I can tell. I'm sure there's a little bit there, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the product. I mean, I think if they really start to push the titles that they support on this thing and have more of a Netflix style, Redboxy style, experience where you can just basically jump in and play a bunch of games, I think they're onto something here, So overall, I mean, look, I'm not saying it's perfect. It's definitely not. There's definitely issues, especially that you have to use something like this, like a phone, to set everything up, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that hurts.
Otherwise, I think in general, I mean, I played Destiny 2 and I played Tomb Raider and Samurai Showdown. I had pretty good experiences with all three of those. So overall, I think it works. Okay.
I think it works better with Tomb Raider because that's a kind of a slower game compared to like when I'm playing Destiny 2. It feels like when I'm playing it, the reticule is like just a little behind where I think it's going to be when I stop moving. It's something I can kind of. It's very fine. It's something I can notice. But I play a lot of like shooters. Like I played Destiny 2 for a while when it came out. But I play Halo and other stuff. That's something I can notice when I'm moving the sticks around. It's like it just feels like it's behind.
It's just enough to mess with your muscle memory.
Yeah, just a little bit. Like I feel like I'm on the person that maybe is like a hair off, and like it is a little bit of getting used to, but it's
Can I ask you a specific? So you're noticing it because you play a lot of them, and I have a genuine question here, which is, if you hadn't played a bunch of shooters and stuff, do you think like a casual gamer would notice? Do you think that there's enough of a discrepancy? Do you think you're noticing it just because you have a finely trained eye, or is it really obvious?
I think you can get used to it. I think it also, it's weird as it definitely depends on the game. I think if it's like Destiny 2 is 60 frames per second, I think that helps out with the reaction, because if you go to if you play Final Fantasy 15, it feels like there's a ton of input lag, and that does not run at a high frame rate. It doesn't even look that good. Like that is probably one of the worst games on this service so far in terms of how it looks and plays. But I mean, the Xbox One and PS4 versions don't play very well either. So
well, yeah, it was like well, you said Destiny 60 Destiny 60 frames on the PS4 and Xbox One?
No,
on the PC.
On the PC. On Stadia,
okay,
60.
You're comparing it to PC. Yeah, like Final Fantasy 15 has like just baked in input delay out of nowhere for like when you play that game just in general. It's like literally it's just like baked in when you play that game. So it feels even worse though. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2 apparently feels like horrible on Stadia.
Red Dead's a pretty laggy game to
the
begin
people
with.
at Digital Foundry measured it, and it was like a quarter of a second input lag or something.
I've never been more disgusted in my life than when I first played Red Dead. That input lag is just nuts.
The thing I like about Stadia is that it does transfer back and forth between computers very easily, like Stadia.com, and then it just launches. If you have an Xbox controller synced up, it just uses it. So like on that sense, it's pretty cool. And I actually switched over to Wi-Fi instead of using a LAN connection like I have for this Chromecast Ultra, and it still worked well enough. There were some weird points where all of a sudden everything slowed down and then sped back up like it was trying to catch up randomly, but those were like maybe once or twice an hour or something happening. So it's not the worst. I still don't see it. Like some people seem to think that can be their only system. I don't believe that. I think this is a complimentary service, to be honest.
Yeah, it's obviously going to depend on the library. It's in like the beta test period, and they have like whatever these 10 game that launched, which I know like a lot of them are pretty good games, but hearing you guys talk about it in this period, and you get some of the lag and the ebb and flow, the slowdown and the catching up, like the test will be like, they're going to want games like Call of Duty and Fortnite to be huge hits on Stadia like in a year to really sell it to the mainstream. And those games that require like the big Twitch kind of action, Twitch reflexes, if those games don't work and they lag like a Red Dead 2 lags, then that's when it's going to become like a real problem for them.
Yeah. Also, like these systems are supposed to be super powerful. It's like 10.7 teraflops. I have no idea why it is like a lower version of Destiny 2 running. It's like running like medium settings. You can see it too. It does not look great.
Because it's new, maybe.
We actually did have a suggestion/question on Discord about it. Possibly that they run 2 instances on a single server blade or multiple instances. Just to try
I think
to get
you mentioned that.
there.
You mentioned that as a joke, MVG. Like, oh, they split that up. I mean, it's possible. They could be like, oh yeah, this can take care of 2 instances of it or something. Yeah. That's very, very likely at times. I feel like anyway. Like when I'm looking at, it, I'm like, how like, how come the Xbox One version looks better than this? You know, like, it's like, why is that? But I
got the feeling that maybe they were just starting very conservatively with the settings, and then they're going to, as they start fixing all these teething problems with the service, they'll start kind of, you know, boosting up the level of detail.
Do you know what to see? We have to see Sean's reaction to Stadia just to see what he thinks about it. That's what we need to see.
I'm waiting on Wood. He's half-assed.
Wood's gonna get to the buddy pass. All right. Cool.
I want to hear about what Nate's experience was.
Oh yeah, because you have your laptop's terrible, right, Nate?
Terrible.
I thought you said it was really bad. You're like, this thing doesn't play games. I don't play games on this thing.
No, it's not a gaming laptop by any stretch of the imagination.
Perfect. Good. That's what we're looking for. Does it have a GPU in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I have been playing Shovel Knight, King of Cards on it all week.
Oh wow! Don't wow!
And Disco Elysium.
Don't push it too hard.
Handle those high-end indie games that don't push graphics.
What like GPUs in there?
It's integrated.
Okay, why don't you tell us how Stadia went?
I used it from the Chrome browser, Wi-Fi. I really didn't have any noticeable input lag with Destiny 2 or Samurai Showdown. I mean, there was some lag in Destiny 2 where it seemed like whenever I was transitioning into a new area, it stuttered for a few seconds and then rapidly caught up. But overall, I mean, resolution, you can tell it's being streamed. It looks like a Twitch feed.
Because when you move around or there's like darker areas, you can see kind of compression, like squares.
Yeah, even like looking at a character model up close, you can see some of the artifacting. So, and I'm running it at the highest 4K setting and everything. So, not really getting that crisp resolution that you would expect from running it at the best it can run. It was kind of off-putting, but overall performance-wise, there really wasn't anything too concerning. Like Samurai Showdown ran perfectly, and I didn't hit any lag at all with that, or really even any noticeable input lag. I was pulling off combos perfectly. So,
okay.
And my internet connection isn't like gigabit type stuff either. I think it's 100 down, 10 up, and I'm getting these results. So
that's like Comcast Blast or something like that.
Seems like they got that net zero premium internet.
Yeah, I got the Cox Sucks premium.
AOL starter, like double time starter package.
Earthlink.
Oh man! Right? Are those the ones you get when you walk in and get the CDs from the grocery store?
Exactly. Those CDs that come in some of the magazines. Like, oh snap, we got like 3 months of turbocharged net zero, bro. Let's go.
Ooh, it's good. It's the good stuff.
Downloading ROMs tonight.
Man, we are
Oh my goodness.
We are really making fun of a 100 megabit connection. This is amazing. Wow. My 8-year-old self would punch me in the face right now.
Right.
It's interesting. I got to see them do some improvements around the overall service, the UI definitely, and then the fact that you have to use your phone to buy games. That's weird.
It's even that's the weird. Only way. Is that the only way to buy games? Is with your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's silly.
But it's weird because they show options on the Chrome browser where it's like, oh, settings for display and everything. It's just like, yeah, you have to use your phone for this. So it already has the integration to do it. They just
that's right.
I don't think we're going to let you do that here. Like, not even Nintendo is this obtuse.
You have to use your phone to change the settings.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Nintendo saw this coming, man. That's why you get that Splatoon app. They figured it out first.
How about us? We're actually talking good about the Nintendo app. We're about like, man, remember when it was an optional thing on your phone?
Yeah, I don't even think does anyone really even start that thing up anymore. The Nintendo
no,
app?
because Nintendo forgot they even released it.
A year.
I think if they had more integration with more games, like Splatoon's like it's actually really nice for the game if you play the game like competitively. But other than that, like. Not really.
You can't even like. It's not like you can like go on the eShop and buy. I mean, if it was that, like, I might use it to like buy games and send it to you.
eShop and stuff would be cool.
But it doesn't even have that. And like Smash Brothers is the only other thing. But it's like, I'm not trying to do all that. I mean, I play Smash competitive. I'm not trying to go on the app and look at people's stuff. It's like I don't care. Like,
it's kind of too bad. I always thought like the like base level concept, like if you like close your eyes and squint and really try to picture what they're trying to do, I think that there is a cool idea there. But obviously the implementation was lame and like cumbersome. And again, the only thing that really uses it is Splatoon, to my knowledge, right? Like it's not really advantageous. But the idea is there. I think the idea is there.
Okay. It's it'll be interesting to see. But they just established their studios. They hired some studio leaders and all of that. And so I guess 2 years from now they'll have a game worth playing on it, I guess. So
hooray! It exists.
It really feels like they just did all of this like over the course of a weekend with a whiteboard. It almost feels like. So I don't know. It's it'll be a bit.
Yeah,
it'll be a bit. But what else? What else are we playing? I played some more Pokemon. I did play that.
Yeah, I just started Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm not excited to play it anymore. So
really,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my it feels like it's the same thing I've played for a while now. So I don't know.
It's Pokemon.
I go, it's that's what I say to myself when I'm playing. And I'm like, yeah, it's Pokemon. Like I'm like, maybe I'll do a video on this. And I'm like playing. I'm like, yeah, it's Pokemon. Okay, yeah, it's Pokemon.
The raids and stuff are really fun, and like running around and catching Pokemon and stuff like that. I think the one thing that I realized annoys me the most is like the catch cap. You know, like you have to go through certain gyms until you can catch. Because I would love to just like grind throughout the wild area and then be able to catch the really cool Pokemon I see right there. I'd be like, hold up a minute, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
But it's like you have to go through the whole story, which makes you grind up different Pokemon if you're gonna like go for a gym. So it's like, you know, like it's not bad. It's just frustrating. That's like I want to catch you, but I can't yet. You know, so
it's I don't know. I look. I'm like, I guess it's okay. It's Pokemon. I'm not as excited by the Pokemon formula anymore. I think is my issue as I used to be. But I mean, I was there from like the or late 90s when they first introduced it. So it's like, yeah, this is the same thing I've been doing for a couple decades now. But like I'm to the point now where I'm looking around. Sean hasn't even bought the game yet.
Nope.
Nate hasn't even bought the game. I think Nate forgot about it.
Oh, I was supposed to get it as a birthday gift.
But like, let me put it in perspective for you, Nate. You felt the need to go to Redbox, get Death Stranding, return it, then buy Death Stranding.
Well, Death Stranding was more of like.
You didn't get Pokemon.
I wanted to see what Death Stranding really was all about. So I was like, I have to see if this game really is just UPS Simulator or if there's more to it. So that was more of like
UPS Simulator.
My interest. I have to see, is this just...
But I think that's what I mean though. There's more people are like, you're more compelled to do Death Stranding rather than Pokemon right now.
Because Pokemon, at the end of the day, it's still Pokemon.
That's what I'm saying. It's still Pokemon.
It's not inherently a bad thing. That's what appeals people to it, is that it's Pokemon. But at the same time,
it never changes.
Right. It's Pokemon.
The one stable thing in all of our lives.
No, there's I beg to disagree. I think there's a lot of good quality changes to the game. YouTuber Tyranitar2 put out a video the other day that probably is the best detailed explanation of why the game is a massive improvement and how they've actually listened to the fans and have changed a lot of things for the better in terms of the story and the characters and a lot of other really good stuff. And I couldn't agree more with that. I enjoyed the game. I ended up beating it the other day and doing majority of the end game stuff. I thought the story was excellent. There's a lot of problems with the game in terms of some abysmal animations towards the later half, which I made fun of, and I think that definitely do need to be called out.
The attack where it just hops, where it's like, here comes super ultimate attack.
The voiceover part.
No, because it's not even that. Because most of the attacks are beautiful. Most of the attacks are actually animated and great. But there's stuff towards the end of the game where characters turn on an X and Y axis. They just turn and then keep walking. Like it's really bad animation. There's definitely parts where voice acting would have been great, especially at a certain area that's very obvious. Evan knows exactly. I guess Rob, I don't know how far you're into Pokemon.
No, just a couple of hours.
I haven't even played the game.
You haven't even seen
what you're talking about.
You're talking about the dark gym.
One of the final gyms. There's something there that just needs it's ridiculously weird without voice acting. But I had fun with it.
Prior games have voice acting? They haven't
had it. Or handheld games.
It's something people are wishing they had an initiative on. You know, kind of like Zelda. I think Zelda would have the same discussion with Breath of the Wild. You know.
Yeah. Like even if it was like light stuff, because like this definitely, even if it was like a generic sound or a hum or something, it would have benefited in that area.
Banjo-Kazooie speak.
Well, or I was gonna say
anything.
I love Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem a lot, and just a little when they're talking, I think it actually adds something.
Or Star
I think,
Fox,
I
same
think there
thing,
should have
you know?
been
Say Fire Emblem?
something there.
Oh, sorry. Did I say fire? What was I trying to say?
I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Golden
Animal
Sun.
Crossing?
Golden
Oh.
Sun.
Okay, let's say because like Fire Emblem's like fully voiced, so I was like, wait,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what are
sorry,
you
Golden
talking
Sun.
about?
Thank you for catching me on that. Sorry,
No
Golden
problem.
Sun.
It's just it feels like it just feels like more Pokemon, Jordan. That's my only thing. It's
And
like,
this is the most fun I've
okay.
had with the mainline Pokemon game in 10 years. And also,
oh, no, I think people
the
are gonna have fun
music-
with it, but I look at it and I go,
the music is what keeps me invested every time. Like the music changes between
no, the
characters
music's good.
talking.
Music's good.
There is nothing more exciting and fun. Like when you watch the initial trailers of Dynamaxing and they're showing the stadium, and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. But when you're playing it and the Joy Cons are rumbling and the crowd is like freaking out, it goes dun 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 dun. It's like you are
let me-
in it, man. Exactly. That's the sound it makes.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Jordan: will there ever be a major shift for Pokemon, or is this it right here?
Question.
No, I think it's what we see here is going to be how the shifts are going to go. I think like the shift from the 3DS was a half shift. It's we tried a bunch of new things, but we didn't go too far away from the formula. And I think when the next thing happens, it's going to be the same thing. Here's a bunch more things fleshed out that we're trying new, but also we're not going to go too far away from it. I don't think that we'll have this issue of not every Pokemon again. I think that they have learned their lesson from the backlash in terms of making sure that's a priority. I think taking the time to do one more tree asset is going to help them. Fleshing out a few more animations would definitely help. So I think the next Pokemon will be similar, but incredibly better. Like it's going to have everything fixed that were the initial problems.
I've been playing the game a lot myself, and I'm kind of like I think that the game is really good. It's the best game playing in terms of playing the games. It blows away the 3DS playing those games. I mean, there's no question about that. It destroys those
easily.
games. And like if you go back and play Diamond and Pearl on the DS, you're gonna be like, this is like molasses speed. Like you're going to sit there. And
this speeds up.
It's the speed is so slow. The pace of the game is a lot faster. Obviously, the graphics, they're not amazing for like Switch standards, but compared to the previous games, way better. Everyone wanted an open area to where you can catch Pokemon and catch in the wild and see the Pokemon. They added that in there. So I think Jordan's right with what they're going to do. They're going to take that formula and they're just going to fully flesh that out. Better animations, more Pokemon, bigger wild area. And make improvements to the battle system, and that's what they're gonna do to really just. And I think once you get that graphical like paint on there to where it gets better, people will automatically start liking the game more. I think that's gonna be like, oh well, this is better for some reason. It's probably gonna be because the graphics are better. They're not gonna look at it like, oh well, it doesn't look so bad in terms of that. But when you go, like Jordan said before, when you go into the towns and stuff, it doesn't look bad. And like the gym fights are amazing. Those the graphics look good. So, but they need to shore up some stuff with the wild area. I think that's where they need to shore up. Like I said, make some more tree assets and animations. Make that better. But like everybody just saw like the double hop animation. Like what what?
Dude, I'll tell you this. Tell you this.
So
a bad looking tree, once in a while in the area, or characters popping in and out depending on how far you are in the draw distance, is not going to ruin your experience at all. You're not even going to care about that when playing the game. It's actually fun. In fact, there's some people specifically you're watching this chat right now who said they're vowed to never get the game in their life, who are now playing it in X amount of hours in, who know exactly what we're talking about. So either way, Pokemon, it has a lot of problems, and you can acknowledge the problems, but I think not enough people are going to acknowledge how fun and how cool the game is, and I think there's a lot of improvements in the game for Pokemon. So I just don't think it's ever really going to change. So
see, Jordan,
no,
that's my worry. That's my worry about it.
Yeah,
Pokemon to me,
that's fair.
I know what I'm going into Pokemon, like what I'm expecting. In Sword and Shield, it is a Pokemon I'm excited to play when I eventually play it. It's just, it's not that leap where I have to get it right now, because it's still at the end of the day, it's still Pokemon. It's still a lighthearted, carefree RPG. Yes. I know
it's
exactly
not a big enough
going to be. It's you don't have that excitement like I'll use Breath of the Wild, even though it's a completely poor comparison. You're not looking at the Pokemon game like, I can't wait to see how they have evolved this in every facet.
That's why I feel it's a half step.
Meta. They touch the areas to improve the overall flow and everything, and it makes the game a more pleasurable experience. They're never going to push that envelope to become, they're not going to redefine the entire franchise. Simply,
Well, it's tough because like with Pokemon, it's a competitive RPG.
Part of it's competitive,
one.
but it's designed for the all ages group. So like they have to cater to both.
So it's like when you play like Street Fighter, right? Like people look. That's the same reason why people don't buy Street Fighter anymore. It's it's the same thing over, but like you can change mechanics, you can do this and that. But at the end of the day, they've got to make it like Street Fighter, or they've got to make Mortal Kombat. You look at Mortal Kombat XL, and you look at Mortal Kombat 11. Well, kind of Mortal Kombat, but you got to make it Mortal Kombat. You know, there's not much you can do outside of that other than change the mechanics, make it better to play, add features. Yeah. Whatever the case is, but I mean, yeah, I definitely see like where people are coming from with it.
Given the sales, you could almost argue that they're probably not that motivated to change it, right? I mean, because didn't this game just break like new records?
Oh, it did tremendously well. Oh,
yeah. I mean, so you'd have to argue that all the vocal pushback and all the complaining and whatnot that. They hear that. I'm sure that they care about it and they're invested in people being satisfied with it. But also, that they're invested in those sales and all those numbers and like the fastest selling Switch game ever. And so if people keep buying it this way, even if they're review bombing it on Metacritic, I would only assume that they're probably like, we don't need to do a major overhaul just yet.
I'd be curious if I'd be curious if it would still be the fastest selling Switch game if they only had one version of the game.
Well, that's kind of the conceit with Pokemon, right? Like it always kind of has that. I don't want to call it a cheat, but it is kind of a cheat, right? Like it's selling 2 games every time, and a lot of people buy multiple copies. So I have to say, I have to say, like, so I just picked up my copy yesterday, and it's my first time ever playing a Pokemon game because I committed on this podcast like months and months ago when they first showed footage.
Yep.
Yeah, Austin John Plays was here, and so you guys helped convince me like play a Pokemon game. So I started it last night and I played a couple more hours this morning and I definitely am enjoying it. I don't have anything like actually bad to say about the game. And I'm for sure super early because I haven't done like a gym battle. I've been to a gym and people walked in like really cool, slow and
so that's the introduction.
So that's and I know gyms are like a big deal just because pop culture tells you gyms are like a big deal. And my girlfriend's also a big fan, so she was kind of filling me in a little bit. But I will say like my completely like newbie perspective with probably like 4 hours under my belt is it is fun. It's definitely getting better, I will say. But it does feel like just an outdated video game. Like everything about it and everything about its approach.
Interesting.
And not just the visuals. Like the visuals are obviously not amazing, so I'm not gonna just like crap on like the graphics. It's fine for that, but just like the approach, the variety of what you can do, like. And it's a simple series, right? Like I know it's supposed to be pretty simple gameplay, but I just have a feeling of like this game feels like it was made about 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So you guys are all like way more up to speed on how the series has changed throughout the years. So you can tell me if that's wrong.
Well, no, I think
it feels pretty old.
I think you're correct because one of their biggest improvements that they wanted feedback on was the free camera that you can now rotate.
Yeah. Which was a nice surprise.
In certain areas.
In certain areas. Yeah.
In the wild area, not everywhere.
Not in like a town and stuff. Like I was in. Yeah, the one spot. I was in the town and I was like, oh man, I kind of feel like I want to move my camera, but I felt like I was like, this is like Pokemon God of War. Like the camera's going to tell me where it's going. But then I got out to the area where I could like move my camera and I was like, this is great. This is way, way better now. So, but then they took that away from me again. So,
I just see them like freaking out in like their development room about a second analog stick.
What do we do with this thing? Now they're on
the controller. What?
Hey, MVG, do you open up your Pokemon copy?
No, not yet.
Oh, see, do you people see this?
Well, so I'm going through my backlog. So I finished Death Stranding this week. By the way, the ending was my god.
Okay.
I can't wait. Yeah, don't spoil.
I'm at the end of chapter 9. Okay, I'm taking care of Higgs. Working in 10.
Yeah.
Hey, I had to play Pokemon and I'd play Stadia.
Have you guys all completed it?
I will not spoil the ending, but the Death Stranding ending, you got to watch it for yourself. It's so good.
Okay,
so
cool.
Good.
Sweet.
So
cool,
good.
Sweet.
And finished Control today, so that's done.
You finished the possible game of the year. All right, Jump Force is next, right?
Jump Force is what did you do? Please, tell us about what you thought of Control. I'm genuine because I liked it, but I want to know your thoughts.
It wasn't jiving with me, Max. Unfortunately, I really wanted to give it a good go, but I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it. That's fair. Yeah. I did finish the game. I thought it was cool. And now Star Wars is next. So I was trying to finish that today, but I'll probably finish it tomorrow. So
Jedi Fallen Order instead of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Jedi Fallen Order is good.
That's a smart choice. Yeah, great game.
Yep. Jedi Fallen Order instead of that. Okay. Yeah. Rob, you played Jedi Fallen Order, right?
Yeah. It's probably the first game I've managed to play and beat within 5 days since probably like in 10 years.
I'll say you finished it, right? You finished it.
I finished it. Yeah. I'm normally way too busy to beat a game that quick, but I also took PTO for the week of that game. So
it was. I mean, you had to. That game is legit.
I had to.
It's Here's the thing about that though. Did you see the commercial for the game? What was that the other day?
Yeah,
it was
Black
What was
Friday.
it about?
And they spoiled
Oh,
everything.
I saw your tweet. Yeah,
They did. I mean, my brother was texting me about it, like, "Holy shit! Did you see what they did? They spoiled the ending." And I've kind of mixed feelings about it because I feel like it's tough because like I'm a super Star Wars nerd, so I'm so into the lore. I kind of went into that game expecting that thing to be a part of the story. I actually expected it to be a bigger part of the story than the end, but like basically what is this crazy surprise circle of events at the end of the game?
I didn't know that was going to be there.
So you didn't expect it, right?
I didn't expect it. When that happened, I was like, "Whoa!"
See, I was half hoping, as cool as it was, I was half hoping that it wasn't going to be like that because I feel like this kind of thing is shoved into everything that's Star Wars related. So
yeah, I think
it's a franchise. I mean,
it's like while it's cool, it's like, oh, dope. That's a cool way to do it. It's also
in
like
your comments, and I wasn't surprised.
Oh no!
It was on the commercial. They literally put it right in the commercial.
Oh really?
The world
Don't spoil it for everybody though. Don't spoil it. Just so now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm talking around it. I'm talking around it. But like, there's that moment right where you're like, yeah, we're just gonna run, and then he runs, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, like everyone at the time, I bet you everyone thought immediately to just run. So
yeah, totally. I will say, like Jordan, like everything you're saying about how that is something that happens a lot in Star Wars. It's true, and they probably do rely on it a little too much, but it also fits and makes so much sense. Like it's not that forced.
I still agree.
Yeah.
I still agree that it's fine where it is. It makes sense, especially for that moment. But it's like, like it wasn't as big of a surprise. I was like, oh, okay. Like that's how I felt. I was like, oh, okay. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny because go ahead, Max. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that spoiler commercial reminded me of those like early '80s movie trailers that just said the whole movie. They're like, when the hero dies, suddenly a spin-off character has to save the day. It's like, why are you telling me this? Why am I gonna pay for a movie ticket? Don't tell me the whole movie.
Seen the trailer for the original Mad Max? And it's literally the last 2 minutes of the movie. The trailer is like, and now he gets revenge. I'm like, that's the ending of the movie, the literal ending. I was like, are you kidding me?
Or I think there's a trailer. Stupid. There's a trailer for the famous horror movie I Spit on Your Grave, and the trailer the trailer is basically just like a quest for revenge. It's just the whole movie's explained. Like, what is this? Stop.
It's
a quest for vengeance.
Still a problem.
Watch her kill.
Batman vs Superman did the same thing.
I'm gonna bring up the game again, and chat's gonna freaking lose their minds, and I love it. So watch them get salted. That's what I love so much about Death Stranding, is because the trailers legitimately like made me more confused every time I watched it. Like you couldn't figure out what the game is about. So like you dove into the game being like, okay, please explain to me what the heck I've been watching for like 3 years. It literally gave nothing away. Like you could show a scene from the end and you wouldn't even know. Because nothing made sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, Miss Click. That's when all those trailers were coming out and people were like so angry, like this game's gonna be garbage. I don't know what the hell's going on. My response was like, that's kind of why I want to. Yeah, I don't want to know. Like, let me play the game and discover the mystery, right?
Yeah.
I will say
that's how Kojima games are, though. I mean,
there was one.
I've never played a Kojima game, so I can't.
Metal Gear. Never know what the hell's going on, and then all of a sudden, that's what happened.
That's why
Same here.
I've been laughing so hard. People are like, "Oh, you're just saying that because you want to like suck Kojima," and I'm like, "Dude, I literally didn't even know this guy existed until like 2 years ago. Like, please get off of that. Please get off of that."
Let me ask you a question. Who's better?
Yes.
Kojima?
I couldn't. Hold on. I couldn't hear you.
Kojima.
Oh, God. Hey, here's hoping Blue Point is
She's got this. She has left the chat. She's gonna go suck Kojima.
I was just joking.
Wow.
Look what you did, OJ.
You did, OJ. Rage quit.
She rage quit in her own.
I can't ban you, so I just ban myself.
So here's hoping that Blue Point's remaking Metal Gear Solid 1, because that'd be perfect. Then Miss Click can go through Metal Gear Solid 1.
I tell you what, though, there was
bring
one
twin
part
snakes.
at the end of Death Stranding, and I don't want to say what it was, but it almost lost me. Like it was always like I don't want to play this anymore. I'm done because I can't deal with this anymore. But you know, there's so much of that game where I can see it being so, you know, polarizing in that so many people dislike the game, and I can definitely see the viewpoint that it really is, at the end of the day, it's just a package delivery simulator. I mean, that's really what it is. But the story is so amazing that you just want to keep pushing forward, and I think that's really what makes it so good.
Should they just go watch the cutscenes?
No.
It's really not this. It's not necessarily the same. But if I'm honest, so my husband started playing it because as soon as I finished it, I was like, I need to get this out of my room, otherwise he's never gonna get to play it. I'm just gonna go back and do like end game stuff. So I put the PS4 into his room and hooked it all back up.
The PS4?
I threw it, and no, but I gave it to him and I watched him play. I finished stream, so he was probably like an hour or two in. So he was, just getting used to the world before the transition. And then I come back and he had only pushed through like one other part of the story. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting 5 stars with every single person. So he's literally building everything. I'm not even joking you. He was building every single thing that he could, which I figured he'd be doing, but he loves the building aspect of it so much. He literally spent like 11 hours yesterday. And even after we got home from Thanksgiving, just building stuff.
So he's the person that everybody wants in like their network then, because all of his online stuff will show up.
He's legitimately like, as soon as he got the power armor, he's like, yo, this is the best thing ever. And I was waiting for him to react to that because I told him like, when you get your first upgrade, you're really going to love it. And he was obsessed with it. So like, like right now he's out there building stuff.
That's the other thing about the game. All the upgrades you get are all awesome. Like there's no duds. Everything is really good in that game.
And when you get it, you feel stronger. I like a game where you get a new way to travel or something, and you're just like, this completely changes the game. And then another couple hours later, this completely changes the game.
It's extremely rewarding. It's very, very rewarding.
Yeah. See, that's the thing with the game, where if I had to review this game, I understand why it's getting 10s. I understand why it got 3s, because the game is a pretentious fop. But it's also brilliant in many ways. This was a nightmare to review for anybody. And that's the polarizing scores make sense. Even after playing it, though, I can understand why someone walked away saying, I hate this game. And I can understand why someone walked away saying, I love this game. The game was so diverse in what it was portraying that's why we got such mixed reactions. And neither one is wrong.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I think your point about, can I just watch the cutscenes? I mean, you could do that, but the thing is, finishing one of those missions takes so much time and toll out of you that it's really kind of rewarding to sit back and just relax and watch like a 5-minute cutscene. Like you could watch the whole thing in a row, in as a movie style, but it wouldn't be the same. I don't think it would feel the same way. And I think it would be kind of lost on you.
Yeah,
definitely. And it depends on if somebody can actually get something from that gameplay, which I think is great. And actually, I know that like we all call it like a walking simulator and a UPS simulator, which is like technically accurate. But I watched a video review from Shy Guy, who you guys know. I think he was on the podcast too, and he used a great description of that game, and he basically just called it a survival game. And I was already kind of really falling in love with the game when I heard that, but then when he said that, I was like, oh, dude, it clicks even more in my brain now. So
let me go to Sean here because he's been quiet in space. And actually, where are you now?
Disco Club.
Disco Club.
Oh
okay. Good. What have you been up to, Sean? What have you been playing, dude?
Just pretty much Alien, and I've actually been playing a bunch of Grid as well.
Grid. What brought that on?
I don't know. I've just been enjoying playing it.
Okay.
I bought this Shenmue 3.
Did you play it?
No, it just came in yesterday. I got this. Here's a question for people. What the fuck is the point of a steel book? What is the point of this?
They're cool.
Because I love them.
Yeah, they're tougher. So you put your game inside there, and then when the house burns down, your plastic case is gone, but the game is safe inside the steel book
with a nice boiling disc in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's a melted disc.
But steel is weak to fire. Come on.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, I mean, jet fuel does melt steel beams.
Elementary Pokemon.
Oh man,
I don't get it. But yeah, I got this. I got Collection of Mana and Mario Tennis Aces because it was $30.
There's a Black Friday section coming up soon. You might hold those for that section. I was asking what you were playing. Grid. Yeah, it's interesting you went back to that. It's because Alien was so the port for Alien was so good.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Nothing on Pokemon yet though.
No.
You said that mildly laughing. Okay.
Yeah. I don't feel the need for it. Like I got enough stuff to play right now, and I'm not going to make a video reviewing it or anything, so it's kind of far back in my backlog.
Okay. That works. Very cool. Evan, Discord question. You want to hit us with that while we move into some of the super chats? We can get into some of the topics since we're almost already an hour into the podcast.
Not gonna ask me what I'm playing.
Or me. You've been playing. What the hell?
Shenmue.
Well, I beat that, but now what I'm playing is Top Secret, and I just wanted to be like, I'm playing a Top Secret game. Okay,
that's the one you got the review code for?
Man.
Yes, yeah.
The final,
the final game of the year.
That's what I thought when I saw your tweet. I was like, he probably can't even talk about that on the podcast anyway.
Rip.
I'm playing a game series for the first time ever.
What's that?
It was given to me last week on the SpawnCast.
Is it Fire Emblem?
It was Fire Emblem. I started it up today on stream.
He's like,
you
20
did
minutes in.
house, but that is okay.
No, okay. If you have a problem, take it to Twitter because I put the vote on Twitter. Twitter chose my house. Twitter chose my house.
Wait, I told you to play Black Eagles. I told you.
They won. They won the vote.
All right,
yeah, they won the vote.
Black Eagles should win the vote.
It's a democracy. That's fair.
And it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For never playing a Fire Emblem game, I get it. It's pretty good.
You should check out the one on the GameCube when you get a chance.
No, that's too old.
Dude, that game was so hard, man. That kicked my ass when I tried it back.
Did that come out before you were born, Jordan?
Oh my god.
Yes, because I'm 8.
It's called a GameCube.
You were definitely young when that game came out. That's for sure.
What year did it come out?
Yeah.
03, I think.
Yeah.
I was 9.
I knew that. I definitely knew that I was old when I started working at GameStop in 2002, and kids came in looking for. I mean, little kids would come in look. Do you guys have Nintendo games? And in my head, I'm like, we don't have NES games. Those are too old. No, they were looking for Nintendo 64 games. That was their Nintendo game when they were children. And I was like, this is insane. Like, the flow of time must stop. I can't deal with this.
Get it?
You want to hit us with a Discord question, Evan?
Since there's speculation that the Scarlet and the PS5 might be the last disc-based systems and they'll probably go all digital, do we think Nintendo is going to continue with the cartridge or physical system just to try to differentiate themselves from everyone else?
You know what's funny is that Nintendo is actually the one with what they're doing now. A lot of people are going heavily
more digital.
Oh man, a lot of people are going digital with the Switch right now. I don't know.
I have heard a lot of stuff that I do think that everything's going to be a subscription service in the next like 15, 20 years. I think there will be a Nintendo subscription where you'll just pay a monthly fee. With the way Games Pass works, I think everybody's going to have Games Pass. So I think that whatever comes along after this next generation, it's going to be more than all digital. You won't even have it. It'll be literally you pay a monthly fee to play the Nintendo games.
I actually just bought a GameCube and a Super Nintendo, so when that happens, I'm fucking set. You know?
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, same.
I'm starting my collection because if that happens, I'm.
I know. I hate the idea of it. Yeah, I hate the idea.
You know what's
OJ RGT. That's all I'm going to be retro gaming to.
You know what's really interesting is if we get to a point where it is all digital, that technically eliminates one of the big weaknesses the Switch has when it comes to third-party ports, which are also those game cartridges.
Every Nintendo game will be cheap.
If they get to the point where a developer comes to them and it's like it's gonna be 40 gigabytes. I don't think we can fit that on a cartridge. Well, there's no cartridge. We're not using them. You just download it. It's all digital.
Yeah, but then you still run into the problem if they keep the Switch form factor of having onboard memory. If they can only account for a 32 gigabyte, then you still have the issue of, what are people buying for their SD cards?
Well, I would hope that in 10 years they would have more than 32 gigabytes of onboard storage.
Yeah,
hopefully.
In 10 years, we're going to have games that are going to be 400 gigabytes.
Yeah, games are just going to go right along with it. Yeah.
So
are you saying 4K Switch confirm then?
Yeah, in 10 years maybe.
I wonder
20.
I don't even
30. I mean, what resolution does Doom run at on the Switch?
4K.
720.
I mean, 720 to 540 to 720, right?
If you put on the Labo glasses, it's in 4K.
So in 2020, we could be at the 4K-ish. 20 years.
2020
years from now.
900p.
Yeah, checkerboard.
Checkerboard. But no, I guess the idea would be that by then we'd have much larger storage that they can afford to put in there.
I feel like we've had this conversation with every time there's a new generation coming up.
We're talking about this next one being the last one that would be disc-based or physical media. So that means we would be 8 years from now. We'd be talking about the next systems.
And in 8 years, we'll be saying this upcoming one is rumored to be the last disc-based systems.
Yeah, maybe
we're going to just keep having this conversation.
Yeah, but now it's a bit different now because EA says they're 50-50 now.
I think the thing is
EA.
What we're forgetting is that there is a huge amount of impulse buy that's important to the market. Like just people walking through Walmart and just literally picking up a copy of Shenmue HD Collection. A huge chunk of the market is people just buying things they didn't know about that they physically see. So I think that physical discs are probably always going to exist. It's hard to imagine them fully.
But you could just put a code in there. It can be a box with a code instead of a disc.
Don't crush my dreams, Spawn. But I need my disc.
We already have that. Cuphead did that.
Oh, that's right.
Wolfenstein Youngblood did that on the Switch.
There's a reason for those releases.
Disgusting.
If you buy Minecraft on the Vita, which I'm probably the one person in the world who did, the inside of the box just has a code. It has a place where the game would go, but it doesn't exist.
It's just a picture of a middle finger and a code.
Yeah, it is. It's just someone spit. What's going on?
I mean, I do think this is probably the last PlayStation and Xbox that are going to use this. I will say that.
I have a physical copy of Mass Effect Andromeda on PC. It's just a code in the box, but it's a physical copy.
It's a physical piece of paper.
It is a physical pice of paper with a code on it.
$60 paper. That's the future.
Mass Effect.
No, I got it for $5 at Target.
Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm surprised.
Was that used?
Punchy fist didn't come out and hit you in the face when you do something that dumb to buy Mass Effect.
You know what? I'm gonna be curious how many people would really be upset about physical media going away, because I thought it'd be a lot, but the more I see people talk about digital, the more it seems like a lot of people
got used to Netflix.
They're just downloading their games now.
If you take away physical, you take away backward compatibility.
That's the other thing,
unless you turn it into a service that moves forward with the systems.
Unless they make you buy all your games all over again,
which Nintendo's been doing for decades. Yes.
My Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on my Wii U. I had so many hours into that game, and then randomly it just started giving me an error code saying it couldn't read the disc, and the disc was in like pristine condition. And I was out of warranty at that time. So I was super upset with physical for a while. So then I just went and bought all my multiplayer games on digital. And now I go back and forth. Obviously, if Nintendo sent me something, they sent physical. They don't, mail you. Or they send digital. They don't mail you physical.
Okay.
It was like, they're doing digital now.
They're doing digital now.
The thing is, it's just I think you have less room for error too for a lot of people, and I think they like that better because apparently, Mario Kart 8, like getting that error message was like a pretty common thing, and I just never heard about that before.
Let's move over to some of the super chats before we talk a bit about some of the topics we have here. Jonathan Reed says PS4 is still the same price it was last Black Friday. I thought would have been a little cheaper since PS5 is coming out next year. Yeah, I guess it was. It was $200 last year with Spider-Man, and I think a $50 gift card at GameStop. And I think it was about that, but it had 3 games with God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and something else. Something else was with it. Yeah, it didn't get that much cheaper. It pretty much stayed at $200 basically with gift cards all around.
That's still really. I mean, they can't give it away for free. I mean,
that is a pretty good price. I mean, the Xbox One SAD got down to 150, which is probably what it should have launched at in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
PS4 is probably still selling. I feel like PS4 is probably still selling.
I think they sell enough for the year that it's in at this point. Like it's like like they're not really releasing much anymore. That's big enough to sell it. Last of Us Part 2 is like the last hurrah, really. I think.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I mean,
Tsushima.
I think Ghost of Tsushima is going to be like a game to check out, but I mean, it's not like it's a new IP, so it's going to be a little harder to push system.
And that I don't even know. Is there a tentative 2020 date for that? I thought that has no.
We're
date
still
right now.
trying to figure out if that's going to be like releasing
PS5.
around the PS5/PS4. That cross-gen thing. We're trying to figure all that.
We don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
My money's
There's still a lot
on
of
PS5.
a lot of stuff up in the air with that one.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, that'll sell the last of the PS4s.
Yes. Yeah.
Good point.
Fish Fan did ask Sean about the deli meat of the week.
It is Black Forest ham.
Black Forest ham. Very nice. Very nice.
Good choice.
Then there's Merp Derps with no message. Said the Heller. Patrick says, I made sure to tune in live to say Nate is right about Sayonara Wild Hearts. That game is magical.
Nate, you can't donate to the stream, Nate.
I ain't wasting my money on donations.
He'll use the stuff they give him.
Yeah, he still has to buy Pokemon.
Right, someday.
Yeah. Everyone should be playing Sayonara Wild Hearts. It is an injustice. No one on this cast has played it but me.
Fine.
You brought all disappointments to Nintendo and indie games.
Fine.
Let me open up the
Down in shame, friend.
Wait, didn't you say it was mobile?
Let me open up the Play Store. Hold on.
Oh.
But you said it's a mobile game that is on the Switch.
It's on the PS4.
Damn it, it's a mobile game first. It's on my iPhone.
I was gonna buy it, and then I watched Nate's direct feed 5-minute thing.
I knew I wouldn't like it.
He gave away 3/4 of the game.
Yeah, it's only an hour long.
Spoilers.
1/12.
It's an hour long for $13. No way, Jose.
It is a great 1 hour.
Hey, you get a lot.
It's a $13 hour, man.
You get a lot of stuff at that $13. You could subscribe for Fallout First over here. You can
Fallout First. That's a better deal.
Stop.
Be making 1 hour games, bro. I don't care what you can't be sitting here making 1 hour games. Say, hey, buy my 1 hour game. I mean, come on, bro.
It is a great game.
It's 1 hour.
Untitled Goose Game's 2 hours, and it's legendary.
But that's 2 hours.
That's like 4, isn't it?
That's double 1 hour. That's
Yeah,
twice the length.
like 4 hours.
It doesn't match.
That's 4 times the length.
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
1 hour
is an
game,
excellent
bro.
game.
I mean, it got nominated.
Sayonara.
Pablo says Star Ocean this Friday. Also remake Crystallis. Okay.
That would be interesting.
Is there a new Star Ocean game?
It's a remake.
It's the remake of like the PS. It was on the PSP, right?
It was on the PSP. It's here. Let me. Chat loves when I grab stuff.
This dude has stuff right next to him the whole time.
I know, right? Let's see.
It's
here.
done on purpose.
I just happen to have my whole PSP collection right here, and here's all my Darth Vader PSP.
While you're grabbing that, Will said
It's a remake
There
of
it
this. It's First Departure R, so it's a remake of this remake, which totally makes sense.
It's a remake.
It's a double remake.
This is a really heavy ass case. Holy, look at the size
I think the
of
manual, right? Manual's huge. Yeah.
Jesus.
Will says Misclick and MVT are great additions to the podcast.
Aww.
Thanks, Will.
I'm no good though, so that's okay.
Sean's mom says favorite system Atari VCS, least favorite Sega 32X.
Thank you.
Yours. Oh, that's for you, Sean.
Screwed yourself out of Christmas, Mom.
Sean. Oh, Sean.
Core says I picked up Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on Steam. Very nice. That was that one. That was I think that's the cheapest game on Stadia for $10. I think.
Tomb Raider.
That's
the first.
That's
one?
like the one actual 4K game on.
Isn't Tomb Raider like the first game to come out with every new like update or something? I feel like Tomb Raider is like always the first with the new stuff.
Yeah.
They throw it out. They're like, there you go, enjoy.
I mean,
You kids like the Lara Croft.
That was
right?
the
There
first.
you go.
That was the first game I
Lara.
played on the Xbox One X and 4K on the TV. It was great.
Okay.
Midicus says, can we discuss why Nintendo has decided to stop releasing NES and Super Nintendo games since September? Any guess when we will get the next drop? Probably in like a week or two. We'll get the last game before the end of the year. But yeah, they definitely stopped. Just like
Well, they warned
Very
us.
interesting.
Just
Yeah.
to be fair, Nintendo, they did warn us. They did say there's not going to be monthly ones anymore. There's just going to be like big drops occasionally whenever they're done and ready.
I think that sounds better anyway, honestly. I mean, I'd rather just wait for them to give like 5 or 10 really good games.
You just want
There's
videos.
there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that they're going to give you 5 or 10 games.
Sean
They didn't-
can't make a video new every month.
You bastard.
backwards. That's what it is, bro. I was thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? I remember I'm missing Sean's videos where he's like playing like a Switch, like all happy as hell with this Super Nintendo game, like
this crappy NES game.
I'd be watching that shit too. Like, why am I watching this? Hey, I'm gonna watch it anyway.
He's got the hat backwards.
Got the hat backwards, and he's like super happy.
Here's the point you're bringing up though, Sean. Is the longer they wait, the more expectation is for what game they actually put on the service. Because if it's if it's not a good game, everyone's gonna be like, it took 3 months to get this.
Well, yeah, but that's if they only do like one game at a time. But if they're doing big drops, right, then maybe we get like 5 or 10.
If they do something like, they drop Chrono Trigger on there or something, people will be like, all right,
it's coming.
Okay,
it's
I get
coming.
it.
They know.
Maybe even I'd make a video making dumb faces if it was a Chrono Trigger.
If it's the
Let's all do it. Let's all do it.
Will,
everybody needs to do it. Everybody, even John. I need to see John's face too.
We'll get him a backwards hat. It'll be great.
Hey, if they drop Chrono Trigger, I think people will be like, all right, that's fine.
Right, yeah, that pays for itself.
Especially if it's not the cell phone one, if it's the actual Super Nintendo one.
No cell phone.
No world ends with you nonsense. Yeah. None of that. The world ends with this mobile port.
I'd look for a drop from them in like a week or two for the last game of the year, I guess.
I'm waiting on 64 games, man. That's what I want. 64 games.
A million twists.
Probably not.
It's gonna be a
dream
bit.
now.
Yeah,
I can dream.
Metroid Prime Trilogy at Game Awards 2018. I want to change that 8. Says too much exciting news this week. Predictions. So much exciting news this week.
What?
Predictions.
Is there big news? I don't know.
The Atari VCS is done?
I read it and it felt like a lot of English, so I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exciting news this week.
We'll find
Million
out.
Twist 3 gets announced.
You should have the next week, maybe with Game Awards and stuff, but we'll see. We still have another 2 weeks before that happens.
Nintendo Direct?
Oh god.
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so, huh? Don't think? Same to say.
Alcatraz says, any of you guys get Trover Saves the Universe on Switch or getting it on Xbox next week? I did not get it on the. I did not.
The hell is Trover Saves the Universe?
It's actually written
Justin
by
Roiland
Justin Roiland. Yeah. So it's basically like a Rick and Morty game, and I heard it was funny. A lot of people said that it was like, it was the first proper example of like 3D comedy because there's jokes happening all around you, and it does a lot of really good humor. But honestly, I didn't buy it. I'm not sure I'm going to. I'm thinking
It's a
about
WTF game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Latest episode of Rick and Morty was really good though.
It
Got Elon
was.
Musk.
Oh my god.
Elon Tusk, man.
Elon Tusk.
What the
Yeah.
hell is Rick and Morty?
What?
I mean, like you
What?
son of
Nate
a
would be
bitch.
one of the first people to watch that show.
Some overrated ass shit.
No,
Nate doesn't
that's
own
good
a TV.
show.
That's a
We
good
have boomers
Is
on
that
this
the is that that
podcast.
show that made everyone go crazy like 2 years ago for
Yes.
The sauce.
Szechuan sauce?
Yeah, this.
I have a sealed packet of Szechuan sauce on my set. For
Do you really?
Watched
year now.
literally
Yes.
every episode 5 times.
Yeah, Nate, that's a good
That's
show,
not too
man.
far. I've seen every episode maybe once.
What the hell are you watching there, Sean? Evangelion?
It's synthwave.
Synthwave, yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's good. That's good stuff right there.
Where was? Dave says, did anyone play Volferis on Switch yet? It's a great indie game with great music. It has a physical version.
Did he say Val Venus?
Valferis?
Oh,
Isn't that a razor
Is that a
for women?
side scroller?
it's a
I think
wrestler.
it's like a Metroidvania. I think it's a Metroidvania game. Yeah, that looks really good. Really, really good.
It's like a
I've not played
Metroidvania mixed with Contra.
All I know is the theme
That's
song
it,
for
yeah.
that. I'm your Venus. Yeah, that song. Yeah, see, she knows it. Yeah.
We had can we get this is from another one. Can we get Destiny FOMO on the SpawnCast? OJ, you know you've had her on your SpawnCast or your podcast before, right? OJ?
Yeah,
podcast.
she comes on my podcast. She's been on a few, I think twice or so. I know she's been on a few times, and she's supposed to be on like regularly. But Destiny's awesome. She's like hardcore Nintendo fan, like retro gamer. So she does Nintendo. She does like all sorts of stuff. But yeah, she's awesome.
Holy shit.
Oh, no, she's nice. Yeah, she's great.
All right.
What? Did no one seen $120 from Patrick before?
That's not what they thought, Jordan.
Oh wow, geez, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's here's enough money for everyone to buy Sayonara Wild Hearts. Does everybody want Sayonara Wild Hearts then?
I don't think I'd get that hour back.
No, seriously, no. I'm buying it because of Patrick. I'm gonna play it now with that money. Thank you, Pat.
Patrick.
Seriously.
So apparently everyone gets Sayonara Wild Heart. That's on the
Dude,
Switch.
that's
On the,
amazing.
that's
Nate,
on the,
stop donating.
Dude, no, that was super nice. Dude,
that is really
genuinely
nice to
thank
Patrick
you.
so that everyone can
That's
get
a
it.
huge donation.
Jet,
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
That is
Thank
legit
you.
awesome,
Thank
dude.
you.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you so
everyone-
much.
YouTube can play it. We can all play it now. Like everybody.
Yeah. YouTube gets their cut. YouTube gets a good cut of that. They'll play it twice.
Hell yeah, we playing Sayonara
Getting
tonight,
30%
boys.
out of that.
Oh, I didn't think of
Susan
that.
Wojcicki is really excited right now.
John's like, OJ, shut the fuck up.
No, you're actually right about that. Yeah. Okay. Well,
They don't do that.
It's
on
fine.
Twitch,
They
just
can have my
saying.
copy.
oh yeah.
Aw.
No, Evan, you're playing it.
So I have to send people copies of Sayonara Wild Hearts. I had to get digital codes for it or something. I think I can get. You can get them on Amazon, can't you? Am I thinking right?
I'll just buy the game. It's cool.
Can I?
No,
can we,
I want
can
mine for free. I am a cheap motherfucker.
I was gonna say, can we get digital copies on like the on Amazon? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you can't gift anything on the Switch right now, right?
Stupid.
You can do that, or you could. What? It's like $10, $20. What is it?
It's 12, I think.
$13.
12. You can just send me 12.
It's a $13
There you go.
1 hour.
Yeah,
There
that's
you
what I
go.
was gonna say. $13 is 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do that. That
It's
works.
a
It's
good
gonna be
hour,
it's
damn
gonna be a
it.
good hour apparently.
I may beat that tomorrow morning just for fun. Just wake up.
You know
I mean,
what?
you have time to beat it a couple
final
times.
stage, you're gonna sit there and say, "Damn, that was cool," and you're gonna
Okay,
say,
thank
"I'm
you,
gonna play this game again." I think.
That was cutie.
Yeah, exactly. In that plain voice. Oh my god, that was amazing.
Wow.
Well,
yes,
thank
that's
you,
cool.
thank you, Patrick. The
Yeah, man.
SpawnCast.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thanks to you. We'll do that. We'll everyone will get Sayonara Wild Hearts ahead of the Game Awards to try out. So we're
Play
at
it
least-
on the
Yes.
toilet only.
Next, Disco Elysium,
I'll
boys.
play. If it's an hour
Hey,
long,
girl.
I'll play through it.
It has
It's an hour
like
long.
2 nominations, at least 2, if
Yeah.
not 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play through it before the.
I think
Better
it
have a
had three.
hella good soundtrack. I better be blown
Yeah.
away.
I posted 5 minutes of it. Why doesn't anyone watch my content?
I watch Nate to hate all the time, man.
YouTubers
Because there's
struggle.
spoilers. If it's
what-
only 5
1
hours,
hour. It's 5 minutes.
that's
Everything
most
was
of
a
the game.
spoiler.
That's a big part of the game, bro.
That's all.
Yeah, dude.
That's what
I'm
I
gonna,
said.
You all better get gold rankings on every single stage.
let me go over to Streamlabs as well before we get into some of the topics. Evan, do we have another Discord question?
Yeah. Do you think there should be a minimum Metacritic score for games to be eligible for the Game of the Year?
No.
Are we talking about user reviews?
Definitely
To be
not user
nominated?
review.
No,
Metacritic.
no.
Okay, I was gonna say like you're joking, right?
Critical reviews from journalists.
Metacritic is weird. So the thing that I think is important to really note, Metacritic is not every website. Some websites actually opt out of being counted on Metacritic. And B, I feel like the law of averages isn't accurate with Metacritic because it kind of just rates people as positive and negative sometimes. So I feel like just numbers, like some people absolutely love the game, but they don't have a scoring system. So even if they think it's the best game ever, since they don't have a 1 to 100 scoring, it doesn't even appear on the chart. So I feel like Metacritic isn't really accurate in the grand scheme.
I mean, it should still probably be taken into consideration with what it is. And, I mean, companies' bonuses and stuff are based off of that sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's
And I mean, if you think about it, the question makes sense because a part of the big scandal is Death Stranding doesn't have a great Metacritic score, and then good games like Fire Emblem do. I mean, I like both games, and so like, that's. I don't 100% agree with that, but the nature of the conversation I think is like relevant, and I get what people are saying.
The one that still bugs me is Control, because what the.
It's the only one I haven't played.
Look at the Chucky. I don't 100% agree with it, but like I think
that's Charlie Cheese.
It is.
I do think that like Metacritic, like because like it's pretty clear that they didn't play these games. Like there's a lot of games that weren't played from these people. So if you need help or if you need to know what the best games are,
OJ is offering his services.
There should be something that you can reference so you know, because they nominated Jump Force and they didn't play Jump Force. And nobody's
I played Jump Force. I played it,
but you're not on the panel, and they nominated Jump Force, and nobody will admit
I nominated
that they played
it
Jump
for them.
Force and nominated it. Nobody will admit
nominated that, Jordan.
So we know that they're not played everything. They didn't listen to Fire.
I hope it wins.
Yo, Sean, look up the Chuck E. Cheese. Look up his backstory online.
Yeah, it's fucked. Did you
Charles Eleanor Cheese.
Did you know that Chuck
Entertainment cheese.
This lore is too deep for me, man.
Dude, the weirdest thing is Chuck E. Cheese is made by Nolan Bushnell. The guy who invented Atari was like, all right, I'm a super genius. Now I'm going to start a business. And he made Chuck E. Cheese. That's a true story.
Yeah.
That's Atari money that built that creepy puppet.
Let me hear. Shin says Death Stranding plus FedEx equals Strand X. Get it.
Not wrong.
Good attempt. The attempt was there.
Get it says filled out. A lot of my backlog on the Switch is Black Friday, but I'm really looking forward to Ni no Kuni and Vampire based on yours and Sean's recommendations. Just finished up Pokemon. The gameplay was really great, but the story was awful. Thanks, guys.
Interesting.
There you go. All right.
Didn't know there was a story in
All
Pokemon.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I thought the story was excellent, but all right, that's fine.
I don't even remember the story in previous games. I'll be honest. I don't except for Black and White and Black and White 2. Those had good stories, but everything else is just kind of like
They had deep lore stories. Yeah.
I like the other one since your rival was a dick. I love just like, hey, look, here's this
You
dick
get
from
three
the
of them
neighborhood.
here, and one of them is. So it's fine.
Oh, you get multiple rivals in this game.
Okay, is it Ben? Beatty? Like, how do you say his name?
I say BD.
Beatty?
I think it's Beatty.
We have no voiceover to confirm it, so
Yeah.
I just
never know the
realized that when we reconvene next weekend, we'll all have to have played through Sayonara Wild Hearts. So we can give our thoughts for Patrick.
I'll just head to Nate's channel and get the cliff notes.
Okay, for you, Patrick.
It's an hour long, Miss Click. The game. It's not very long.
I'm simply
It's $13
I'm simply
for 1
gonna do
hour.
it because I still feel like Fire Emblem should have been in their soundtrack, but whatever.
For sure.
You know how I know they didn't play a lot of games or they forgot about some because Ace Combat wasn't there.
It wasn't. And you know what, John? I listened to Ace Combat when I was working today. I listened to pretty much 75% of the soundtrack, and that is phenomenal. Keely also mentioned that to me.
You were going back and forth with Keely on Twitter.
We were going back and forth. It was great. Well, we
I
actually
missed
did
it.
a little bit, just a little bit, but he did mention that, and then John, you brought it up, and I'm like, wow, it really does have a great soundtrack. I don't know what the hell they're smoking.
What is the soundtrack for that? Like techno? Like what is it?
No, dude, they brought in like
It's like
it
opera.
metal?
It's crazy. It's like a full like symphony is going
Yeah,
on.
'cause
It's
it's
like
okay.
the Philharmonic.
I was
You're
like,
playing
techno's
it
not that
and
difficult.
there's vocals and stuff. Like Fire Emblem should have
Interesting.
aimed to get Ace Combat type vocals.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa, hold on. I think Fire Emblem and
Whoa.
Ace Combat should have been top for soundtrack and then have a few others filled in there. But like,
So, I'm not
Let's look at it this way.
into Fire Emblem, but I haven't in listening to the music. I haven't had anything that makes me go,
You've
wow.
been in the academy. You've been in the
That's what I'm
academy
saying. I
and
haven't
that's
played
it.
long enough, but
Get
nothing is
into
allowed me.
your battles.
Pokemon from the get-go had the best bops of the year so far.
I disagree.
Only the gym.
From the
disagree.
get-go.
No.
Remember
Yeah,
Jordan?
it's dun da 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 da. All right, that's the song.
The
Game
Game
Awards,
does.
the Game Awards snubbed Octopath last year.
Yeah,
so we
what
shouldn't
was that
even
about?
pay any
Wow,
attention
they
to anything they do.
did.
For
You're
music.
right. Red Dead didn't win last year,
Wow.
and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, Octopath has
no,
the best
I-
soundtrack of the generation.
also anyone in the chat that has not played
How
Ace
about this
Combat,
one?
it's only $20 now because of the deals. So there you go. It's a good game. Good game.
Is that VR?
Good game.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, I want to get it.
there's
And it
VR
has some mild
VR
RPG
missions,
elements to it too, which is kind of
Yeah.
neat. Like you actually level up, you get new planes, weapons,
Wait, so
abilities.
you have to buy a headset?
No.
No,
It
it has
you
the
can
option
play
of
it.
VR.
yeah. There's VR specific
Oh.
missions you can play in the
Okay.
game.
Yep. But the
Yeah,
game itself
you
is
could be in a
good. I
jet.
like it a lot. It is a very good
Got you.
game. Let's move over to Black Friday, and I'll come back to the super chats a bit later on. What everyone get for Black Friday? We can go through the list real quick and any experiences. Does anyone actually go out in the trenches on Black Friday and
No.
like
Hell no.
get into Walmart? Am I the only one that did that?
Avoid.
I was going to. I ended
Avoid.
up. I spent a lot of time with mi suegra, my mother-in-law. So I ended up not doing any stuff. I bought a bunch of stuff online though. I bought all my Christmas presents online.
What'd you get me?
Not a goddamn
Hold on,
thing.
let me. I'll get my
just like my
stuff over
parents.
here. Hold on, I'll grab it. You guys can go on. I'll go grab my stuff.
I got Control. I did a video. about
Nice.
Control.
Oh,
I got Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition on the
Nice.
Xbox One.
that's a good.
you mean
That's a good
Royal?
deal.
This version of it on Xbox One, which I
Yes,
have
but
every
I'm-
game ever right next to me.
Wait, do you
I know
mean
do.
this version? No, I don't have it as well. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you don't got it? I bought a new
I
monitor.
have regular Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, you got a new monitor? What'd you get?
I got the one that.
Oh, did you? You got that one?
One that you told me to. It's this. It has like everything the same thing, but
Yeah,
not the same.
144
It's like,
hertz, G-Sync. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. That one's
LG.
nice.
It's an LG brand though. LG. Got
Someone in the
LG.
chat said herpes is better than Control.
Jesus.
So let's see.
That's probably not true unless you.
Probably.
It's probably.
Yeah, you can confirm it.
I have questions.
Confirmed.
One you can put on the
I have a
shelf
stack
and
of
walk
games.
I haven't
away.
played herpes. I don't know.
Yeah,
right.
he got
I
a
haven't
stack
had
of
herpes.
games.
So I thought I bought a bunch of stuff, and then Scott posted everything he got, and he like destroyed
Him and
everything.
Austin John Plays got the most on Black Friday.
Yeah, and
Did you see the guy on like friggin' Resetera who bought 84 games on Black Friday?
God,
That's worse than a Steam sale. Holy crap.
that dude has a
that
problem.
is quick.
well, let's see, we got Persona Q2.
Why?
Why on the Switch? Persona Q2 was $20. I wanted to get it.
Listen, I got a 3DS game as well. It's fine.
I did get Zelda for the nephew because he got a Switch this Christmas, so we get Zelda.
Yes. Best uncle.
Collection of Mana.
Yay!
Fallout 76. Need for
Yeah, put that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't they give that to you with
It
something
was free.
else?
Fallout
Yeah.
76 was free. So yes,
you should have tried.
You should have just wung it at
Not
someone. Just
Just say no.
Yeah.
The
Just
reason,
no.
the reason it was free is because I also got Dying Light the Following and Gravity Rush 2 at GameStop. And they only it was buy two, get one free. And the only other things next to this were sports games. So I had to sit there and think about it for a while.
Lol.
But I did get that.
I
I
smashed my copy of Fallout.
did get Need for Speed Heat MVG. I know that's what you were grabbing.
I got
Yes?
I got the PS4 version.
Okay. Yep. And I did get Ghost Recon Breakpoint because it was like $20, $25 or
wow.
something.
Why you're risking it this year?
I did get Sean. Look what I got for much less than you paid for it.
Hold on, I gotta pull up Discord.
Lol.
What are you? Oh God.
Hey man, those glitches are worth $25 to me.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, and then I got Shenmue 3 because it was like $30 or something. So
I also got Anthem for $5, just in case they.
You went through with it?
No, I haven't even played it.
just because they might fix it, you never know. You know,
They
$5.
fix
No
It's
Man's
definitely
Sky
a game.
situation.
It's definitely
Yeah.
a game I want to turn out good because I'd like to play it if it was good.
It'd be cool. I bought the super limited games, the limited run games ultimate edition of Shenmue 3, and I left it over at my dad's house. But I wanted to bring it for the podcast because one of the things is at the bottom of it, underneath all the like cool collectibles and of course the game, they made a Dreamcast case for Shenmue 3 that is 100% accurate. That way you
That
could
was legit.
actually like put it in there. It's so good. It's like it's small, but I feel like to fans it feels so fitting.
I didn't get any
But,
games.
I bought well, I got a text this morning. This is Saturday, Black Saturday count. Is that a thing? This is Gray Saturday.
Sure, why not? I know it's it's Shop Small Business Saturday or something, right?
Small business Saturday.
Well, I did shop at a small business. You may have heard of it called Amazon. I believe their new startup company.
It's Amazon.
No, my grandma texted me and says, "Do you know what Rock'em Sock'em robots are?" I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, "Your uncle had that in the 70s." I was like, "Okay. Do they still make them?" I don't know. Can you look it up for me? Okay. And so, yeah, they actually came out with like a retro style box for it and the re-release. So she made me buy that for.
That's
You
cool.
can get them at Target.
Yeah, I saw it at Target too.
Yeah, it was like $20.
Oh, and then MVG, check it out, got the 2070 out, the RTX 2070 Super. Got that
How much
sucker.
was that?
Nice.
Whoa, are those goggles?
It was this guy was 500 at Best Buy, and it came with like a gift card because they had a deal for it.
Bad.
No,
Yeah, I
I
was
was
gonna
thinking
say.
I've been looking at it for a while, and they paired it with a gift card. My local one did, and I was like, all right, I'll grab it. They only had one left, and I was like, yeah, I'll grab it for that because I've been meaning to upgrade, and Halo Reach is out this week.
How many better models are than that? Was that that's one?
Well,
of the
this
newer
one,
ones.
this is the newer one because they put the Super line out, and this one is like right up against an RTX 2080, like the base model. So you have like the RTX 2080 Super, and then the 2080 Ti.
TI.
So like this, because in that point you get up to $800 range. But for what this is, 1440p 4K, it does it fine. So
Yeah, I'm trying out the new Ryzen because Ryzen had a big sale this weekend. So I upgraded my Ryzen.
So the gift card was only like $25, but you know what?
Bought raisins? What'd you say?
That worked.
Ryzen.
Verizon. She went to
you like
Verizon.
raisins?
She got some raisins.
You got
Don't
raisins?
even mention
What kind of raisins?
Verizon's trashed here, but yeah, Verizon is actually trashed.
But it was it was good for it's good for what you call content creation too, like editing in Adobe and Premiere and stuff. So it works out. I'll use it for editing and stuff in and just write it off, I guess.
Yes.
I got a couple
I guess
things.
you will.
Yes.
It worked out. Yeah, so I'm excited for Halo Reach. I'll be playing it on the PC and on the Xbox. So
What day does that drop?
Yeah.
The third.
Tuesday?
Man.
Hell yeah, about
I'm
time.
about to roll through
So
that.
excited.
Let's go.
Man, so
About
excited.
time, man.
Let's go. But yeah, I'll probably do a video on Halo Reach 2 with its optimization because I realized how many video cards I have when I started looking around. So we might do it on some junk hardware to see how it runs. I think it'll be interesting. Apparently it's very well optimized. So. But yeah, that was my Black Friday stuff. I went out to Walmart, GameStop, and Best Buy.
I got a
Like
couple
2
things.
o'clock in the morning?
No. I went to Best Buy today, and I went out to Walmart and GameStop yesterday, just like midday.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I went out midday yesterday to Target and to Best Buy, and throughout the week, like local shops were doing like early Black Friday stuff. It's not a day anymore; it's like a whole week of sales. So like I got 2 consoles, 2 little handheld consoles, some Pokemon ones. I got the Sun and Moon 3DS,
Nice.
and I got this right here, the Diamond and Pearl DS.
Nice.
And that came with that 3DS game I showed because I've never played this Zelda, so that came with that for free.
Between Worlds. Ooh.
So I got that.
Great game.
Then I picked up finally Resident Evil 2.
That comment. My God.
Oh man, Jordan.
I don't want to read it. I'm in the big reveal that I finally got Resident
I
Evil
get
2
a share
10.
of this, right? I get another. Can I get
You
30
gotta-
off your 30?
Jordan, you gotta account for this, man. Your uncle's in here going crazy, man.
I'll count for it in a second.
You can
I
tell
got-
that dude's hands were shaking when he wrote this message. It's too much.
That's not what was shaking.
Oh man.
This is SpawnCast After Dark.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh man.
I got Resident Evil 2 finally.
Good.
Sorry,
It was
dude.
$15. It was the last copy that my Best Buy had, luckily, and I just came at the right time. Also, right before I was walking out, like at the checkout area, they just had a wall full of Starlink for $10 on the Switch.
Yeah,
and
that's
no one was.
that.
It's a fun game.
No one was buying it, and I was the first person, so I just
I
bought
was
it for
gonna say
this.
you had an R-wing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it for this.
Yeah, it was like 80% off or 90%
I
off.
probably
Yeah,
won't.
that game was $75 when it came out. It's crazy.
Yeah,
The game
$10
is-
is a good deal.
And
If
you
you
know
like
what?
Star Fox, it's a fun game.
It is. I
It's
like
good
it.
for $10.
Then I got this.
Yeah.
Purple.
No. I paid full fucking $80 for that game. Zero regrets.
That's your fault.
Fun game. I had an absolute blast with it. 15-hour adventure. The Star Fox stuff was implemented expertisely. I did not
agree.
like the other characters. The other characters were worthless. Like Captain Whitebread. That if you didn't have the Star Fox stuff, it was
This
a
guy?
mediocre game.
It should have been
wanna say-
exclusive.
Star Fox made it better.
Let me
for
say
sure.
something controversial.
Yes.
I'll say it is it is better than No Man's Sky because you can actually just fly down to planets and explore. It's what No Man's Sky should have been. Yeah, that's right. It's No Man's Star Fox.
I think.
Oh, man.
I think the
Wow.
only thing I didn't love about that, or like that turned me off after about 10 hours, is I kind of got sick of trying to be the ship all the time and treating that like you're platforming and like with jumps and stuff. I was like,
I can see
kinda
that,
wish
yeah.
I could. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to
get out.
be my character out of the. Yeah.
Well,
so-
Well, some of the
That'd be Star
jumps,
Fox's
yeah.
salt. Come on.
yeah.
But yeah, $10 ain't bad.
Yeah, I saw you got
$10.
that purple controller. Good choice. Purple controller.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the
About mine.
purple Xbox, right? Because I really want the purple Xbox, and GameStop was the only place that actually listed it for a sale price because it's about over $300 right now for that Fortnite edition. I only want it because it's purple. And GameStop actually has it for $200, but it's not in a 100-mile radius from my location, and they can't order it in the store, and you can't order it online. So if anyone has a lead on a purple Xbox One S out there, I really would want one, and I appreciate your time.
All right.
And I'll buy it.
I'm realizing there are screws on this 2070. I might have to take it apart. Check it out. I guess that's Black Friday. Everyone had a good time though. Got some good games. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
You're at the
bad.
Pokemon.
Oh, I gotta go to the PlayStation. You just reminded me. I have to look. The PlayStation's having a giant sale till Monday. I actually have to look. They're having a giant digital sale.
Yeah. Yep. Check that out. And also that Sonic bundle is pretty good too on the Humble Bundle.
Oh yeah.
If anyone
Oh, like
missed
every
that.
Sonic game or something, right? I saw
It's
that.
very
Yeah.
good.
How much is it?
It's like $10 gets you everything.
Jesus.
Good deal.
Yeah,
Good deal.
including Sonic Mania in there and Sonic Forces too, just in case you want to buy it and never install it. Sean, actually, you like that game, actually, Sean. I'm sorry. You're a fan of Sonic Forces.
It's not bad.
Sonic Forces is a 4 out of 10 piece of shit.
It's a 6.5 out of 10.
I agree. I didn't think it was like really bad. I thought
and it was only $40.
It was okay.
Okay, we got Metroid rumors here. We can stop talking about Sonic Forces.
Hey,
Thank God, please, yes, save me.
yeah.
Metroid rumors. What do we got? Two Metroid games are rumored to come out basically in the next two fiscal years, essentially.
2 years.
So we got a 2D one and then the trilogy. And here we are now back talking about Metroid Prime Trilogy. You hear this?
Welcome
See the
full
date?
circle.
Nate and John
escape.
spill the beans. Let's go, guys. What y'all got?
my
What y'all
God.
got?
I'm not saying anything.
Well, here's the problem. Is the dude who
Oh,
said
Nate,
it.
stop.
I want. Sean did some digging. I want to hear Sean's dirt.
The dude who released this rumor has a very shitty track record.
All right, there we go.
From what I saw. And Metroid Prime Trilogy HD is a safe bet to say. Super Metroid, I made a video on this today. Please go watch it so I can buy more Black Forest ham. Like Super Metroid makes sense because of a chronological order, because you had a Metroid remake on the GBA, you have Metroid 2 on the 3DS, so the next game to be remade would be Super Metroid. But when has Nintendo done a Super Nintendo remake? They seem to don't touch those games. So
I mean,
I think
it doesn't really
I think the closest they got was The Link Between Worlds, which wasn't a remake, but tried to do the same thing. Yeah, that's the same map that they redid and the new graphics and stuff. That's the closest they've done, I think.
But I look at Super Metroid. I don't even think it needs a remake. Like what? I mean, it plays fine. I don't know.
It's perfection. There's no reason to remake that game.
I mean, just get us. I'd rather have just a new one, like a new 2D Metroid.
Give me a new one over it. But if they did remake it and it was as epic as Samus Returns, if they added stuff in and actually made it just extra stuff, that'd be dope. I mean, I'd be down for it. I would like a new one. I would like or I'd like even a remake of Fusion. That'd be cool too. So
Yep.
Fusion. Yeah, there's bring a Fusion.
There's quite a few things they can do, and I obviously discussed this at length too with this whole thing. I definitely fall where Sean, you did in your video, which I did watch this morning as well. But my overall kind of takeaway from this is that I feel like these two games, a Prime Trilogy re-release or an HD port or something, or remake of Super Metroid, which none of us need, but I think we all know we'd be really freaking stoked if they made it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, games like these, or even a new, a Metroid 5, which is what I want, and OJ, it's kind of what you're talking about. I think any one of these or all of these games are kind of very potentially being made. I do think that Nintendo is planning some kind of Metroid release of some kind next year, if it's the Prime Trilogy or if it's some other 2D game, which I think is more likely. I feel like they're doing something like that. But when you look at the rumor, I feel like this is the kind of thing, especially coming from this Twitter account, which really does not have a good track record at all. It's the kind of thing where somebody could honestly just guess and say, oh, this logically and business-wise makes a lot of sense. So I'm just going to put out a vague tweet and citing nothing about why I would know the answer and just put it out there because there's at least a 50% chance that it turns out to be true.
Here's my concern about Super Metroid getting remade. I feel like they would attempt to sell that for $60.
Yeah, I think so. I think
it's not even. They would.
It's not even like a longer game or anything really.
So they'd have to add content to it.
Well, and that's the thing is they did that with both Zero Mission and Samus Returns. There's a lot of new content.
Good. Dude, Zero Mission's really good.
It's my second favorite Metroid game. It is so good and underrated. Really, really underrated. So they've already done that with their remakes, and if they put the level of what's the word I'm looking for? If they added that much to the experience to Super Metroid the way they did it to Samus Returns, I think they could probably justify a $60 remake. But if they don't go that far, that's where it might get tricky. And people complained about Link's Awakening, if that's worth $60 or not. And I don't really have a take, but I know people were really heated on that debate. And so we might see that happen again with Metroid.
Yeah, and that game is at least 10 hours for a lot of people. Whereas Metroid is not that. So they would have to add stuff. Yeah. If they did, then I'd be like, okay, cool. Let's see what they have here. But if they don't and they just remake it, it's like,
I would not be surprised if some kind of Metroid release or thing happens next year. I feel like it's going to happen in 2020. So I don't know. What it's gonna be.
Can we stop saying this word?
Which word? Sayonara?
I'm more excited. I'm more excited for a Prime Trilogy whenever that does get announced.
Yes.
Same.
Whenever
If it gets announced.
So what's with this Twitter handle, Sean? All right, Nate. You're gonna get us in trouble, Nate.
What happened? Did I do something wrong?
No. You're fine. Nate's trying to get us into trouble here. He knows where the information goes sometimes.
Well, I put it on my Twitter.
Okay.
There's nothing new about the tweets from, what was it? It was Leaky Panda, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
There's nothing new there.
No, leaky pandy.
Pandy.
Oh, that's Pandy.
Pandy.
If you call him Panda, that's a problem. I called him Panda a couple times. It's Leaky Panda, the character from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Pandy. Leaky Pandy.
Gross. Yeah. Bad.
Yeah.
I've never played that obscure game anyway, so.
I'm dripping with leaks.
His face.
So, Nate, what were you saying, Nate?
So there was nothing new to these tweets. A 2D Metroid has been rumored since E3 2018.
A while, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been, which game would they go with? Will they make a brand new 2D Metroid? Would they remake Super Metroid? Or would they remake Metroid Fusion? Because Mercury originally pitched to Nintendo a remake for Fusion, and Nintendo rejected the pitch, and they gave them Samus Returns. Now, Metroid Prime Trilogy, we've discussed this over a year ago.
Yep.
And it's a question of when, not if. Trilogy will come. We're just waiting for it to be announced.
Yeah, we had the theory, because a lot of people were thinking this because of the weird issues they had with Prime 4, that the Trilogy could have been affected by it. Hard to say. I think it's hard to say because we're all just kind of speculating on that, but at least it adds up, because like from what's been going around, Prime Trilogy's like it's ready to be unveiled. It was
ready to be unveiled last December. It was ready to be unveiled, whether at the Game Awards or not. It was ready to be unveiled.
Game Awards, January, February,
and then all of a sudden you get a Prime 4 delay. You're going to sit on it. Nintendo likes to sit on games. They sat on New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe for
a while. Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for them to do this.
They sat on stretchers for like 8 months.
Yeah, it's very common. Nintendo will set out a game anywhere from 6 months to almost a year and a half.
The stretchers was uploaded to their the database for the eShop for like months and months. It was just sitting there.
Yeah, it was loaded back in like
I feel bad for those devs. Imagine sitting there for 8 months hovering over the go live button. Jeez.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm not saying anything about it being at the Game Awards. I honestly don't know, but
I don't think we'll see it at the Game Awards.
Be the first game announced.
It's here, right on the SpawnCast.
First game, baby. And you know
the Steelbook version?
You know who told me that it was coming? John told me in the DM, and also Nate. They both told me it's coming.
Double confirmed.
They double confirmed. I don't care. You get that? If it doesn't happen, blame them, not me.
It sure felt real.
Blame the Grinch.
It sure felt real.
Right, now I'm gonna lose.
Get so much trouble.
Who else can I add? Who else told me? Miss Click, did you tell me? Anybody else told me? Sure.
I told you.
Yeah. Oh, Jordan. Okay, you too. Let's go.
No,
I just wanted to be included.
Ninjas.
Now I'm gonna lose my mod status. Thanks, though, Jay.
Oh my god. No, I'm clearly joking, guys. I'm not serious.
Oh man. Yeah. That's so. Even though like it's like ready to go, it doesn't mean it's gonna get announced. At the Game Awards, as people will probably allude to it and stuff. It's I don't know. Whenever they're ready to talk about it,
it could happen at the Game Awards. I wouldn't bet on it happening at the Game Awards. I think at this point, Nintendo's just better off using it as kind of an early 2020 direct big moment of like, hey, look what's coming in, July, Metroid Prime Trilogy,
even
HD.
Even E3.
Yeah.
I think they'd be better off doing a trilogy reveal announcement early 2020 than use E3 for a 2D Metroid announcement.
Oh, that's a
I
good
agree,
point.
but that's when they dropped Prime, isn't it? That was E3.
Yeah, Prime 4. Yeah.
Yeah, but
and Samus Returns.
They were both at E3.
Yeah, Samus
that's
Returns
right.
was at the Treehouse.
Yeah.
That's right. They just
That was nuts. I freaked out. I was like, what the hell?
Samus Returns, man.
I can't wait till like the day comes when the news breaks about what happened to
with
Prime 4.
the first Prime 4. Like when someone finally gets their hands, even if it's decades later,
Someone's
like,
gonna
finally get to hear what happened.
Someone will get that prototype.
Yeah,
2032.
Well, remember somebody, and for people who might think that this is impossible, remember somebody found the original version of Conquer somebody found the original like cutesy version of Conquer before they were like, let's remake this and make it like dirty and crazy. So like these old prototype games sometimes come out.
Yeah,
well, there's I liken the Metroid Prime 4 thing to like what happened with The Last Guardian. That was a game that just like went dark. It was supposed to come on the PS3 in like 2009 or 10 or something. And for 5 years, it was this big mystery. And remember, every year it was like, this is the year Last Guardian's it's gonna be this year. It's gonna be this year. And then eventually the game came out, and we know they had to redo it. But like, and it was the mystery of what happened to that game. Yeah, it was just a really not that great game. But with Metroid Prime 4, it's like you're talking about, Miss Click, it's kind of the same thing. Like, will we ever get that crazy story of the Metroid Prime 4 development in like 10 or 15 years? I want to see what was being made, especially once we see the version that will release. I can't
I'll tell you what it is.
I would love to know what it is.
I know what it is. It was Xenoverse, but with Samus. It was Dragon Ball Xenoverse, but with Samus, bro. Bad Dynamic. I'm telling you, that's what it was.
Jeez.
It was Xenoverse, but Samus.
That doesn't sound great.
It's funny how much games change. So I'm super into Resident Evil, and I've always been fascinated by that Resident Evil 4 that we never got. The Resident Evil 4
that was 5 of them. There was a bunch of them, right?
Yeah, there was the Hook. There was one called Hook. There was one called Ghost, and basically one of the main storylines they were toying with was that Leon Kennedy was going to be infected with a T virus and hallucinating. So while you're playing with the game, sometimes you're fighting real monsters, and sometimes you're fighting like fake monsters. And of course they decided to scrap all that and make it more of a shooter, which worked.
Yeah, that Ghost version.
Damn shame.
So we'll have to see. We'll see what happens with Metroid. And the Game Awards coming up. We'll see if anything gets announced there. I think there might be a Smash character there, maybe something else. Breath of the Wild.
Oh, there's definitely a Smash character.
Something like that. So
I'm hoping for something we don't know about. I think it'd be great to get a surprise.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Star Fox or something. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens though. It's not too far away. So that should be
like
fun.
2 weeks.
Starlink 2.
Yeah. It should be. I think it'll be.
Perfect Strangers, man.
Let me move over here to VR. Let's move over to VR for a second. Okay.
Yay!
This is Sean's favorite subject. Because this is interesting because you talked about this, Sean. Phil Spencer, not on board with VR.
Good for him.
Not on board. Says, hey, it's no one's asking for it. Okay,
he's right.
Not
He's
VR.
right. He's right.
What?
VR.
I'm asking for it.
What are the current sales of PlayStation VR?
About 5 million.
About 5 million.
How many PlayStation 4s have been sold?
Over 100 million.
What about software though?
What more proof do you need? It's a niche market.
I think Xbox Scarlett and Phil Spencer, they need to get back to basics with the next console, and I think that's what they're doing. And I'm okay with the fact that he came out and said VR is not something that we're interested in right now. And I thought his comment was totally fine.
Okay, so he says he's not interested in VR, right? Will that come back to haunt them if they walk up on stage E3 next year and give us the next Connect?
Yes.
God.
Absolutely.
If it's not,
Connect will
In Connect we trust, baby.
No.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna do that. They're really investing
It's a collector's item.
Like MVG said, they're really investing in getting back to the. They need games. Like they need games.
Yeah.
They need a lot. Like they need good, not just games. They need good games. Not like come out and like it's like Rise. You know what I'm saying? Not that.
Yeah.
They actually need really good games like God of War and like.
They're going to come out on stage and they're going to be like, "Well, for all you fans who are saying that we were out of ideas, here's Halo 17. Come on out."
Oh, I just opened Persona Q2 and it comes with pins.
Nice.
Hey,
Wow.
And a manual. As a manual.
That's a deal.
So Phil Spencer says we're not interested in VR. No one wants it. It seems like he's saying that's basically. I think the wording was weird because I think people are asking for it, but it's not a lot of
His
people.
wording was weird, and he kind of went back and changed it a little bit. But I mean, I think the message was pretty clear that it's not really something that they're interested in.
Well, the issue with that is that he said that, and then the flight simulator team was like, we're working on VR right now. We love it. And it's like, well, wait, what?
I mean, what about HoloLens, man? When are we getting HoloLens?
Dude, HoloLens was something that they've tried to fit into their gaming landscape and they've never succeeded. They tried that. Remember the Minecraft thing that
That was probably the coolest thing with it.
That was kind of really cool tech, but honestly, I mean, they've grappled with the idea of bringing that into games and they've never succeeded.
I think the issue you have is that sell someone on VR, they have to try it. Like it's very difficult to get them, unless it's stupid cheap, like the Labo VR, right? That was really cheap. Sean bought it, tried it. OJ bought it, tried it, because it was $40. It's like
God, that Labo VR,
it's easy. The PlayStation VR is, I will say, the PlayStation VR is much better than the Labo by a lot.
It's real VR.
My biggest problem with PlayStation VR is the setup, and I just don't feel like setting it up half the time. I'm like, if they could make it wireless and make it so I'm not running cables all over the place, and all, it's not fun to set it up. But
I definitely think to pick up on what MVG, what you were saying too, like the going back to basics, I think that they just, because of how badly Kinect really, I think you could really mark the reveal of the Kinect with that Xbox One as the reason it could never catch up to PS4 and that price, that with the whole thing. And there's no doubt that they're like, let's not do anything like that. Let's not even talk about stuff that isn't just, like you said, OJ, just really kick-ass games. Just they're going to bank on games and those studios that they bought and the games that those studios are making, and real simple. And I think it has a good chance of working too, personally.
I guess
really
the other thing to mention is, I mean, they can't even get dev kits to developers. So,
I wanted to bring that up for a second too.
VR systems
this confuses me to no end, and it's actually a little concerning, to be honest, hearing this. I thought about a video on this. We'll see, but apparently the Xbox Scarlet, and you've said this a few times, right, Nate? Am I misremembering? You've said this a few times, haven't you?
Which thing?
They don't have Xbox Scarlet development kits out to developers right now.
Like 99% of developers do not have Scarlet development kits.
Why? Like we get, like they're taking almost selfies of the PlayStation 5 dev kits right now. Like
almost selfies.
Like they're good. Like they got that blue carpet in there, right? I'm like, Blue Point got caught.
Well,
like,
let me ask you guys. You guys are all like way more knowledgeable about the tech stuff. I obviously am a total dork with that. I don't know any of it. So let me ask you this. If the Xbox Scarlet is secretly supposed to be something that is so digital and streaming and cloud focused in terms of games, would it matter if there's dev kits?
The idea here is that they're going to use these Xbox Scorpio dev kits, which I still think is a bad idea, because they're still running. I don't think it's a good idea. It's running on old tech. It's not any of the new stuff AMD's putting out. I don't get it. It's so weird.
I
agree. Go ahead.
I think the issue basically is Microsoft's first-party developers obviously will have Scarlet dev kits. I think Microsoft may be looking into the first year of next gen as kind of, we're going to have a lot of cross-platform. If you can build some of your third-party games on these Scorpio dev kits, we'll be fine for that first year transition. Our first-party developers are going to hit the Scarlet hard. They're going to put out those exclusives using the full end of that technology. Third parties always are slow to transition. So Microsoft probably is viewing it as, we don't need to put these dev kits in their hands a year out as you normally would, and then you get the leaks. So they might just be viewing it as kind of we can buy some time. We can wait till GDC 2020 to start handing out dev kits to the more prominent third parties and gradually ease them into our technology. So by 2021, we can have some of their games transition to our hardware in a little smoother. Whereas Sony, everything's leaking. We're still going to have those cross-platform games. When are we really going to see a third-party game take advantage of the PS5? Probably not until 2022, because no one's going to completely abandon this base of the PS4, Xbox One. So it might just be them looking at a strategy of saying, we don't need to reveal what we're holding right now, where Sony's just, hey, everybody, this is everything we're doing. And Microsoft's kind of sitting there saying, we have something better than you have, but we're not going to let you know until E3.
Yeah, I was going to say, because all we keep talking about is the PlayStation 5 constantly. It's nothing with the Scarlet. Like, we never talk about Xbox Scarlet.
Yeah, they're really staying out of the rumor circuit pretty well, which is weird. You'd think they'd want to start combating all of this, like, positive, well, not positive, but random PS5 stuff.
It just seems like a strange strategy for Microsoft.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet that in a lot of ways, a lot of people they're not even thinking about the next Xbox. They're totally focused on, PS5 is starting the next gen. It's happening next year. It's all on Sony's back, and Microsoft could be missing a huge opportunity to like be in that conversation or even lead that conversation if they were conducting things differently. But like Nate, if what you're saying is true and like no one has dev kits and it is this big mystery except for first parties, then it seems like it's by design. So maybe they do have a plan, like you said. So
it's definitely by design.
Weird.
And I mean, Sony has controlled the conversation with the PS5. They're coming out there saying, look, we have ray tracing. They're very vague with what they're saying. They're using a lot of buzzwords to create the hype and get people excited. And Microsoft is just, they're doing things very deliberate. And it seems either Microsoft is playing a brilliant game of chess and they know exactly when they're going to strike and they're going to catch Sony off guard, or Microsoft really is a little lost and they're definitely not scrambling. The Xbox One, they were scrambling because they didn't think Sony was as advanced as they were with the PS4. They thought they had another year of development, and Sony was like, "Hey, we're releasing," and Microsoft was like,
well,
oh,
the thing that caught them off guard was that Sony was supposed to be like 4 gigabytes of DDR3, and they show up with 8 gigabytes of GDDR5, and that caught them off guard badly.
That caught first party developers.
Everybody, no one was expecting that.
Developers didn't even do it. Basically, Sony at that time, about 2 months before the announcement, they were still looking at pricing, and they realized we could do this. We're not telling anybody. We're making the announcement at E3 because the developers at Guerrilla for Killzone were like, wait a minute. When they announced it, they didn't even know that was happening. They were just building the game with those specs in the dev kits, and they're like, holy shit, we actually have more than we thought.
It's it'll be interesting. The only way Microsoft can catch them off guard is if they have some sort of SKU at $400. That would be the thing I could think of that could catch them off guard. Like not their only SKU, but like a SKU at $400, because a lot of people are now really thinking $500 for that PS5. So
right now, Microsoft just seems focused.
Yeah, and I think this having Scorpio dev kits will be enough to get them over the line. I mean, I think that's really what they're going for. But the developer in me knows that unless you actually have the hardware and you're targeting your code to run on that hardware, then you may not get the experience and the level of optimization and performance that you're expecting, because there's always going to be some things that you haven't accounted for or you just don't have. For example, the SSDs, right? We keep hearing about how it's going to be super fast loading and all that stuff. Well, developers can't really test against that currently unless they just use like a PC SSD drive or something to do it that way. So unless you actually have the hardware on hand and you're compiling code to run against it, then you may not get the optimal performance. And maybe that's what Microsoft's going to do with the first launch games that come out for the Scorpio.
Okay, let's move over to the unannounced Capcom games that apparently are happening at Jump Festa. That's December 21st, I believe, to the 22nd or 23rd.
Jump Force.
So according to some leaks from the magazines in Japan, it looks like Capcom will have 4 games that they're going to show off at Jump Festa. 2 of them are unannounced currently. They're just like placeholders. And then the other 2 are going to be the Mega Man Zero ZX Collection and Monster Hunter Iceborne. So now everyone's trying to figure out what are the other 2 games that they have not announced yet, and is one of them at the Game Awards possibly, and that's why they haven't announced it, or is it something they're going to put out when they get there, or are they just going to announce it on social media ahead of time or something? But it seems like there's 2 things there from Capcom that is not ready to be announced or talked about yet. Any guesses or ideas on that?
Power Stone 3, definitely.
Oh.
Finally bringing it back. Yeah, baby. This is the year. No,
I think it's time to announce that RE3 at Game Awards.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a small nothing teaser that's gonna you're gonna hear stuff like dialogue, all the stuff, and it's gonna say Resident Evil 3 remake or whatever, and then it's gonna say more information soon or something.
All you need to hear is stars. Exactly. That's all they got to do.
That's it. It's gonna be a small teaser.
I still kind of like the idea of Resident Evil 8 coming out before 3. I still wonder if that's possible. So.
What were you saying, Nate?
Nah, I think it's going to be a AAA Knights game published by Capcom.
Finally.
I said Dino Crisis 3.
Wait, Dino Crisis.
That was like a terrible game.
It was dinos in space, and the twist is that the cloning machines, instead of making people, were making dinosaurs. So they kept cloning dinosaurs on the space. It's so stupid.
Yeah, but people have been asking for that for a while, though. They want Dino Crisis back.
Well, Dino Crisis 1, I do think we're definitely going to get Dino Crisis. I think what they're probably going to do is Resident Evil 3 remake, then Resident Evil 8. There's a lot of rumors that Resident Evil 8 is being worked on in some form, and then I bet we'll see Dino Crisis after that.
Man, it's a good time to be a Capcom fan right now.
I know. Yeah. Well, dude, they've come back so strong. It's so bizarre.
Oh, guys, we're stupid. It's Deep Down.
Yeah.
What
They're going to finally announce
Deep
Down.
Deep Down
It's
is
Deep
very
Down.
down into the abyss.
Yeah, that's
Dude, it's coming back. Deep Down is back.
Realistically, I hope we see 2 games, both with the number 3 at the end, and it's Resident Evil 3 and Beautiful Joe 3.
Yeah,
I was looking for an SNK versus Capcom.
Don't say that,
man.
Nate. Oh, man.
Bring it back.
If Beautiful Joe is there, who makes Beautiful Joe?
Yeah, who does make it?
Yeah,
I don't care.
No.
You're gonna want
to
to
care. Because
Ideally, they get platinum back on the.
I'm going to tell
Beautiful Joe 1 and look at.
Yeah,
I'll
Beautiful
care.
Joe 2 was.
I'll tell you what I hope one of them is, and I hope there's a stream before Jump Festa, and that's where they actually announce it. Similar to what they did before is Mega Man X9. That's one of them, right? And then they have a stream before that announced it like they did Mega Man 11. Let's do that.
That's possible.
Mega Man X9.
Possible.
Let's go.
What was the what was, if you guys remember back in the GameCube days, they had the Capcom 5, and only 4 of those games came out. The 5th one was like a Dead Phoenix or a Rising Phoenix. Does anyone remember that?
PNO3. PNO3 was
But that came out. I have that. Yeah, that came out.
Resident Evil was one of them. Beautiful Joe was another
Killer
one.
7 was one.
Killer 7.
And then there was that 5th one that I swear Phoenix was in the title.
Dead Phoenix. It was like a Kid Icarus, Panzer Dragoon. It was like a weird.
I actually think I beat that, and I just totally forgot the whole game because it sucked.
Do you know they were? I forgot about this. They're removing Tron Bond from the. I think it's the Vita and the PS3 now, and I think that's the only other way to play it. They're delisting it from the shop. Interesting side note.
Misadventures of Tron Bond. It's a good game, honestly. Really good.
You know, that would work really well in a Mega Man Legends collection, wouldn't it?
It would. You know,
that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool.
What if it's 2 Resident Evil games? What if it's Revelations 3?
Hey, Spawn Wave, what if it's
that.
Gotcha Force 2?
Gotcha Force 2.
What if it's Gotcha Force 3?
I would.
What about
Gotcha Force 3? Yeah.
Mega Man Legends 3? Wasn't that a game for a while that like didn't come out?
It had a full demo.
Several times.
It was close to being done too. Apparently,
Andrew has the right
Bring it
idea. Zack and Wiki.
Gosh.
Zack and Wiki 3?
It's a good game.
2.
It was a great game.
I know.
Oh man, and maybe it is just a port of Killer 7 to the Switch.
That's what I
Bionic Commando remake again.
Capcom had nothing to do with the Killer 7 PC version. That was NIS America.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because they only published that. That was a Suda game, so they only.
That's a good point.
It, so
What about a new Onimusha?
It seems a little too soon after Onimusha 1 HD.
Dead Rising 5.
I'm curious. I'm just curious
I
if
would
one
love
of
a Dead Rising compilation on the Switch.
No, too bad.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs too.
Devil May Cry
Old
6.
Capcom arcade games now.
I'm just curious if they'll announce if one of these is at the Game Awards or if it's just a random announcement beforehand.
Resident Evil 3.
Capcom has to have an announcement at the Game Awards just because Resident Evil 2 is in the Game of the. It might win Game of the Year.
That's where you just have a star. You just have Nemesis say stars, and they come up with the logo with like a 2020 date.
That will get it done.
Nuts.
Yep.
I wonder when everything's tallied. I wonder if they know that they won beforehand.
Most times people do.
Like the game, like the company will know. Like, would Capcom know they're about to win?
I don't think so, because a lot of times the developers, when they're up on stage, look genuinely shocked, and that's kind of why I do like the show. But I think and Greg Miller, when he won, said that he didn't know about 30 seconds before he won. He knew because he saw the camera crew come up and set the camera up for the shot on him. So he was like, "All right, well, let me just get myself ready to be like."
Yeah, and you had those guys from CD Projekt Red when they said The Witcher 3 won the best actress, and it wasn't The Witcher 3, and they were looking at the camera like, what the fuck? We didn't win.
It'll be interesting though. The Game Awards is, I think we're when we get a week out from the Game Awards, I think a lot of rumors are going to start dropping around that time. So it'll be
Oh man.
There'll be some interesting stuff there.
Wait, the Game Awards is what, December
12th,
right? Yeah. So not this week. The following week, we'll start probably getting a bunch of stuff start to drop ahead of time.
Goose for Smash Bros.
Although they've surprised us. They had that Ultimate Alliance 3 that no one saw coming randomly. So
That's true.
That's true.
You never know.
We could get
Ultimate Alliance 4.
Joker and Smash was crazy.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
I was just like, excuse me, sir? What?
I mean, see, Bayonetta 3 is the one that got me. That was I was freaking out.
Still haven't heard about.
We're gonna see a trailer for it. It's happening.
Do you think we'll see it 2 years later?
Yes. It's happening.
like chopped off or something weird.
It's happening. It's happening. We're gonna see some Bayonetta 3.
Evan, do we have a Discord question? And then I'll go through some of the super chats before we finish up here.
We got one left. Would you prefer if Sega started doing a 2D and 3D Sonic game rotation year to year, or just focus on one big game every couple of years?
One big game every couple of years.
Yeah, especially if they're gonna do a 3D Sonic game, they need to leave that like in development for a while.
I mean, I would actually, I think, I would think, give me let me completely change around their thing. I would like a 2D Sonic game every year or every other year, and then every third or fourth year we get a 3D Sonic. Because I feel like the 2D Sonic, like Sonic Mania is so freaking good. Like, and I feel like now that they have the Legos and the math, and honestly the genius of Christian Whitehead at the wheel, I feel like they could churn those things out. Maybe I'm not understanding the formula, but I want more. Give me more.
I just don't. Never mind. I won't say any controversial topics on Sonic.
Go ahead. Tell me you
talk about Death Stranding.
Listen, I already have enough people wanting to kill me. I already have enough people trying to kill me every time I open my mouth. So I'll just.
What controversy can you have about Sonic? I think the universal opinion is that 3D Sonic games suck.
That wasn't my opinion.
You don't like Sonic Mania?
No, that wasn't my opinion either.
Oh, you're gonna say 3D Sonic games are good?
No, that wasn't my opinion. I'm not gonna say it. Trust me.
Trust me. I don't get fined.
He liked the first iteration of Sonic for the movie.
No. We'll leave it at, hey, what's the next topic?
You're really concerned about something with Sonic.
All right. I gotta hear this controversial.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We're gonna go off the air, and it's gonna be like, he's like, I only like 3D Sonic games. The Werehog is my favorite of all the Sonic.
No, but I've already pissed off enough fan bases every week. I'm good without pissing off the Sonic fan base this week.
Just to make you love Sonic Unleashed. I'll pull out a copy. It's fine.
I've only played the demo of that game.
Oh, man.
Apparently, if you say Sonic has never been good, it goes over really well with the audience.
Oh, God.
I don't. Listen,
Jordan is the only fan of Sonic 2006.
Definitely not.
He wants another Sonic Knights.
Well,
let's go through some of these super chats. I have what Stadia? This is from Minicus. Would Stadia see success allowing users to rent games?
Yes, more.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think that'd be a great idea if you could it's like if you rent movies and stuff on your cable box or something. You could do that for the weekend. Yeah. That would kind of put actually I think hurt on Redbox then. Mm-hmm. So that would be great if they did that, especially if it's fairly priced. If it's like $4 or $5 for like 2 days or something, and you just hit a button and you start playing it. Yeah, I think that's one of the best uses for Stadia.
And to Stadia's credit, which I hate to do because I'm not at all into the idea, but to their credit, everyone is mad right now about the whole Stadia. You buy Stadia and then you have to buy the games, and it's garbage for that reason. But we have to remember that there is a free version of Stadia coming out eventually. So at some point, people will not be paying for Stadia, but buying games as if they're buying like Steam games and stuff. So that kind of does change the conversation a little bit.
But especially if you just have to rent it. So you pay $5 to rent it. You're not paying for the service. Like it could be something you just have, like maybe you're stuck somewhere over a weekend or something and you have internet, but you don't have like your gaming rig or your system. And you just like, okay, I'm going to rent Final Fantasy 15 for the weekend and play that. And all I do is hit a button. You know, it's the underlying technology of Stadia, I don't think is the problem. I think it's more or less their
the service itself,
how they're trying to pull it off, because it's not great right now. So Larry says, glad to see you back, Rob. Love your videos.
Hey, thanks, Larry. Appreciate you.
This is from, did we laugh? We laughed at this one, right? Little Timmy says, love watching SpawnCast with my grandmother. She thinks Evan is cute, wondering if he has a girlfriend.
Hey,
this little Timmy.
Hey, bro, go.
Should probably send her. You should probably send her Sean's way. It might teach her what the real meat of the week is.
No, Evan. It's time for you to get that. I was gonna say you can go get that Kojima suck. It's okay, just go.
Man. Juice Man Bond says the next Pokemon game is gonna be amazing. You can see the future instantly with Sword and Shield.
Maybe
that's a fun fantasy.
I agree. I think the next Pokemon game is going to be. I think it's going to be really good. They're going to improve upon it.
I've decided I want to see them do something crazy and just drastically change everything just to see what happens with everyone online.
They'll love it.
You should put some Digimon in it.
This is really test. Oh,
That's what Yokai Watch did. How did it work out for them?
Hey, they made it like 4 games almost, basically.
How did Yokai Watch 4 do?
Oh,
when
man.
they drastically changed the battle system and everything, nobody bought the game.
I mean, what would they do? Change the combat way? The combat system?
It was a
Like, make it
turn-based
real
game,
time?
and they made it a real-time
change everything.
action RPG, and everyone's like, "Oh, this looks amazing! Looks way better than Pokemon."
change everything. Start
They
delivering
changed everything,
packages.
and nobody bought the game.
They should just make a Pokken tournament too.
Yes.
Should.
So that 10 people can play it.
too.
Yes.
I heard it was good.
I will be one of those 10 people.
Okay.
Me too.
I was in the room for a Pokken tournament, like actual live up on a screen with a cash prize. It was
Who won? What Pokemon won?
Tournament?
yeah. You know what? I'm sure that was the 10 people who bought the game all beating the shit out of each other, but it was fun to watch.
Cash prize was it like $30 for the
Gas for the ride home.
It was probably a gift card to Olive Garden or some shit.
It was
Free breadsticks.
Hybrid says, would you say that Sword and Shield matched the quality and legacies of Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Wow.
Sean almost just died at the
No,
I didn't hear any of that.
He said, would you say that Sword and Shield matched the quality and legacies of Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Smash Bros. Ultimate?
Oh, I wasn't laughing at
He was
that. I
laughing
was
at the super chat.
Yeah.
No, it's not as good as those games. Like, in terms of like graphic quality. No.
I'm sorry, I just saw that super chat. I didn't mean a bad laugh.
I like how some of these super chats just tell a story. It's amazing.
Yeah.
This super chat's amazing.
It's its own narrative.
I just feel like it's all one guy. So if
Probably.
he's got that much time, I'll go for it, dude. Thanks for the
That
dollar.
was really quick. That was probably less than 5 minutes.
Hey, you know what? All right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I would say that the reason Sword and Shield gets so much flack is because it has not up to the level of Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey or Smash Bros. Ultimate.
That's what I saw. As a non-fan, that's what I was hoping to see when the game was going to be revealed. I was like, show me something crazy cool that I have to play, and it wasn't that. Even though I've now decided to play it.
I really think, honestly, I 100% think that more people would be on board just voice acting. I feel like that's the one huge glaring missing thing from it. I would be more.
I was disappointed.
Look how much everybody loved Breath of the Wild. Definitely because of it being open world and gorgeous and fun and having crafting and cooking and cuteness. But I think that voice acting helped.
Okay. And then Dullboy says, what is your game of the year? Question to all. I'm going to say Resident Evil 2.
I'm a hard tie on Resident Evil 2 and Star Wars right now.
This is good because I know what some people are about to say. Go ahead. I do like Rob Star Wars. I was right there, honestly, with Star Wars. But when I played it and it came out, it was a little too glitchy for me to put it there with the quality of RE2. That's the only reason I'm saying Resident Evil 2.
That's the main reason RE2 might have an edge for me, too. So it's true.
I'm still pretty mixed. I'm actually writing next week. The next Top 10 Thursday is going to be my picks for the top 10 best games of the year. And I am still writing it, and I am still mixed. I think that Resident Evil 2 is my winner, but Devil May Cry is right there. Judgment is right there. Like
all over Shenmue?
Shenmue is fun for the fans. It's exactly what fans want. I'm not going to tell you it's a great game.
All right, Miss Click, go ahead.
What?
What's the game of the year? What's the game of the year?
Say Death Stranding. Say that right into the mic.
And you...
Just say it. You already said it on Twitter.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Oh, man.
I love that game.
Controversial
Speaking the
take.
truth.
That's going to become a new super chat.
Miss Click really wants to say Death Stranding. She really wants to say Death Stranding. Oh, man.
Death Stranding is a good game.
I heard her say it.
Listen, okay, all I'm going to say, and MVG, you're waiting for it. We want to know your opinion on the ending, John. Especially because,
I'll get there.
Especially because you and, like, you're, like, where you are in life right now.
Okay.
I want to see your reaction.
Spoiler.
A person living?
I don't know if that's a...
Anything. He's alive.
I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment, but
you
I'm genuinely curious because
I feel like having babies changes.
I feel like
the ending
something's
for you.
about to happen to the baby. All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
The babies were really 45-year-old men.
The baby.
Not wrong.
All right. Oh, wait, is it MVG? What's the game of the year?
For me, it's got to be Death Stranding, and very, very close second would be Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil 2.
What about Sean?
Resident Evil 2 probably number 1. Luigi's Mansion 3 probably number 2.
Okay.
Oh.
What about
Third is Friday the 13th on
Oh,
the Switch.
good lord.
He asked for number 1.
What about Jordan? What's your number 1?
I haven't beat Death Stranding yet, but right now it's close.
It's gonna be Borderlands 3. Yes. Evan,
it's Borderlands 3.
Evan, what's your game of the year, Evan?
I didn't really play a lot of them this year, so like the only one I got because I wanted to play Tenchu again would be Sekiro.
Okay, that's fine.
Sekiro's solid, yeah.
Sekiro's good. What about Nate? Game of the year?
Saranaya World Hearts.
Probably come. Shut the fuck up.
That's my favorite cell phone game, Jordan.
It's $13, 1 hour. It's great.
Hour of the year.
You.
Hour of the year. Hour of the year.
I am genuinely excited to play it, though. I will say.
Bunch of blasphemers here.
I'll give it a shot. It looked like a really good Infinite Runner. Go ahead, Nate.
It's not an infinite runner.
Oh man, I choked on that drink.
Was it a match 3 puzzle game?
It looks kind of like the Battletoads part where you're on your bikes racing, but you can turn right and left.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like the only good part of Astral Chain?
Oh god.
Oh my God, Jordan, stop.
Okay, Nate.
How many combos do you know? How many combos?
Seriously,
do you know?
though, Nate.
How many?
Yeah, like 7.
How many combos again?
What's the game
Like
of the year,
7.
Nate?
I think I would give the edge to Resident Evil 2. Then it would be Death Stranding, then Fire Emblem.
Okay, fair enough. And then OJ, what's the game of the year, man?
Fire Emblem Astral Chain.
Fire Emblem Astral Chain.
That's not a game.
So what happens if we play by what happens if we play by Game Awards rules?
You just said, wait, did you say Fire? Did you say Astral Chain's not a game? But
No, you just said. He said, "What's your favorite game?" He just said, "What's your?"
Astral Chain?
Yeah, that's not a game. You just said, like, "What's your favorite game?" Fire Emblem Astral Chain. That's not the game. It's not a game.
If you play them close enough together, it is.
Yeah, it blurs together.
Oh, but then that's like one good game and then the game that no one talks about anymore because it's not rememberable.
Oh, damn.
Dude, combat, no. Combat is so good.
at least it's a game. I mean, at least it's a game.
But to
Oh,
be
man.
fair,
The combat's really good.
Yeah, combat's great.
there's not many platinum
I'm
games.
sure it is.
There's not many platinum games that get talked about highly after.
Bayonetta
like
2.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, Bayonetta 2. Yeah.
okay, but it
Talk
was
about Nier. Nier's good.
Yeah, Nier. Nier.
Bayonetta 2 is like it wasn't
game.
talked about. Like, okay, look at like a release schedule of Bayonetta 2, and plus Bayonetta 2 came out on a fucking console that had 12 games on it. But even not taking that into account, Bayonetta 2 is talked about highly now. But you know, a couple months
That's
after
how
it
games
released.
are.
But a couple months after it released, nobody gave a shit about it. Nobody was talking about it.
That is a lie.
No, it is
See,
not.
look how heated
Lie.
people get over this subject. That's why you think I want to talk about my Sonic opinions?
Sean,
Yes.
Sean,
I wanna hear it.
you gotta play Nier, dude.
Far wherever you are.
People,
And that's why the Titanic sank.
Or copyright.
Nier is good, man. You gotta check that out.
Good.
Yeah.
Platinum games, they don't sell as much and they don't do as, but they're still some of the most innovative and unique combat
Oh
that
yeah,
I've ever
and I
played.
love Bayonetta too, but I just don't think it wasn't heralded as this masterpiece a couple months later where it was like, oh fuck man, Bayonetta 2 was so good when I played it 6 months ago. It took a little bit of time.
You know what they need to do?
Like,
They need to
it's a really good game.
They need to put Nier on Game Pass already. I'm surprised they didn't snatch that.
Yeah,
up
I've
yet.
still not played that, man. I really.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a
I
lot of
haven't
people that
played
still
either.
haven't played it, and it's sold well. That's the thing. So Mega Nerd says random, but had to share this. Was at an arcade here and was brought back in time because they had the original U.S. Power Stone cabinet.
Oof.
Oh, I didn't know there was one.
That's amazing. You don't see that anywhere. All you get is like the Dave and Buster's like basic stuff around here.
Yeah.
Hashtag
basic.
Solus Curve says, I go digital unless it's a series I love, like Dragon Quest. There's the convenience factor, especially on the Switch if you're taking it around and everything. I get that. Philip says new NES, SNES games in December for Nintendo Switch Online. I believe so. I think they're going to drop at least a couple releases all at once, like in a Super Nintendo game before the end of the year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a thing. RST says in Spain, Xbox One SAD was $99 after tax plus 3 games.
Still not worth it.
After tax. Yikes.
Yeah, Patrick's. Oh, there's enough for the Sayonara Wild Hearts, which we'll be playing before the next podcast, so we can talk about that one. Mr. Poopy Pants says, "Here's money for everyone to get Quest for the Golden Duck on Switch for everyone." That's the game that's like, isn't that game like
know what that is.
10 cents or something? Like they discount it severely, I thought.
The Golden Duck?
Yeah, it's Quest for the Golden Duck. It's the one that's like
the prequel to Untitled Goose Game.
It's not much money on it because they just kind of like, it's the one where they do like 98% off or something.
It looks like a weird Pac-Man game with a duck.
The Robot Chicken says bead is pronounced bead, not Beto.
How would you know? It's beady.
I can see that.
Callaway says mad respect for RGT85 repping the Chucky background.
No problem.
Dolo says Death Stranding cutscene of the year award 2019. You know, they could do a supercut of that and turn it into a movie. They could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It would still be
a 10-hour movie.
5 hours long.
They'd have to fill it in a lot, but I could.
There is something on YouTube. There's like an 8 hour. My brother watched it, like 8 hours of just like all the cutscenes, and you can know like what's going on.
I think the thing that I saw
You miss
recently
a lot
was
of-
the 5-hour speed run. Have you seen that video?
No, what?
I've seen part of it. Yeah,
The speed run of the game.
No bugs?
Five hours.
just saying-
Basically built a whole bunch of the the zip lines everywhere. It just went from like point A to point B.
How do you unlock them right away though?
I don't really know how that
be a
was
bug.
done.
New
Yeah,
Game
it could have been.
Jeez.
I'm just saying, if they made Shenmue the movie, they can definitely make Death Stranding the movie.
Movie?
Dolo says I have a Ron Paul says Walmart has MSI 27-inch 165 hertz 1080p curved monitor for $178. I saw that when I was there on the Black Friday. They still had a bunch of them stacked up too, but that's good if you want like a very responsive experience when you're playing the game. I just 1080p. I'm like at this point I'm like 1440p or bust at this
minimum,
point.
like because like you can spend a little bit more and get a 1440p. Like if you go up to about 250ish or so and kind of get the same quality. So it's probably just, it's probably just better just to go up a little bit more and get that 1440.
Yeah, 1440p is worth it. I think 165 hertz is nice. That is nice, but
that is nice. Mine's 165 hertz.
There you go. So yeah, exactly. So you're good
nice.
then. You're set. And G-Sync. So you're set.
Oh, can't forget about that.
Hey, G-Sync is worth like $100 on its own, man. that is expensive for G-Sync.
If you're into like NVIDIA, gaming, like PC gaming, G-Sync is definitely there.
Lame.
Sean, you're about to play some Stadia, man. What are you talking about?
He never gives me the code.
Are you playing Friday the 13th right now?
No, I'm playing Grid.
Dolo says, I have a box of Genesis carts with Nomad. That was the Jordan. That's your Uncle Ted. Okay, trying to lure Miss Click into a van, I think, with candy.
A van down by the river.
Okay, no, that's just such good comedy, dude.
Yeah.
I hope you feel proud of those $10.
He's playing out. They're playing out an entire sitcom in the chat.
There's a wacky bunch of characters for sure.
It's like the dating game, but the contestant is already married and never lost.
Hybrid says AMD Ryzen is the future. Good pickup, Miss Click.
Let's go.
Shin with $1, no message. Thanks, Shin. Callaway says Salty Sean equals best Sean.
Salty. That's my favorite Pokemon. Go, Salty
That's the new
Sean.
YouTube channel.
Well,
Where's Unsalty Sean? I've never seen that.
Will says, anybody see Arlo's video on Retro Studios? I saw it pop up in the feed. I didn't watch it yet though.
I watched it this morning. It's really good, or whenever it came out earlier today. It's great.
They just talk about just Retro Studios in general and what they're doing now, or
it was like a really solid, well-researched deep dive into the situation of the huge gap after Tropical Freeze. I mean, honestly, even before that, really after Prime 3 and that mass exodus of a bunch of people after they finished Prime 3, leading through Returns and then Tropical Freeze, and why we might not see what they're making for a long time. It's really good. Really, really well done. Good deep dive. So recommended. Yeah.
Very good. Hybrid says, I love Metroid. I wish I got more Nintendo love. They're trying. The fact that they did just cancel Metroid Prime 4 is good. So there you go.
Yep. I've taken it as a good sign ever since that happened, honestly, as much as it hurt.
They could have just canceled that thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, And it also showed that they care enough about Metroid to not release a game that's just okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
They're like, it's either gold or it's not coming out, and that's I will wait 10 years if it takes that. So personally,
Samus Returns, you know, they had Samus Returns
When they had
couple
that,
years
yeah.
ago. Yeah. So I mean, they're like John said, they're trying, man. They're just gotta be a little bit
they're
more
working
patient.
at it. They're working at it. So when it does come out and it comes out, and if it's good, you got to go get it. You got to go buy it, support it.
Yeah.
So that's as long as it's good. If it's bad, you know, but if it comes out that's good, yeah. Mega Nerd says can't get behind game music nominees when Guilty Gear has never been nominated. Series consistently has the craziest tracks I've ever heard in a game.
That's not wrong.
That's not
Actually, that's a good point.
agree.
I think about it. That's never actually
Guilty
been.
Gear has amazing music.
Guilty Gear has great music. and it's
What's
never
that about?
nominated.
Oh, it's because it doesn't sell and people don't play it, I assume.
Yeah, they don't play. It's like I
I've
said.
never heard of it.
The problem with the
There we go.
selection,
Misclick
with
is the
selection
problem.
process.
I'm the problem.
No, not you. No, not you. The selection process. And people
That's
not
true because
playing
Miss
games.
Quick's not. She's not on the board to nominate games.
Yeah, if you're on there, you should at
Not
least
that we know.
play. You should know,
that's what we
and they
know.
don't know.
It's so good, man. I mean, there is literally a character who beats the shit out of you with a guitar, and the whole song is great guitars.
Ice says Metroid 2D SNES GBA HD graphics, please. Wyatt says, have you played Environmental Station Alpha on Steam? Great Metroidvania. I have not played that. I would have
Haven't heard of it.
Environmental Station Alpha. Got it. There is a game on Steam that I've been checking out that's basically the next Paper Mario. So I'm playing that right now. Juice Man.
Yeah, Sean.
Juice Man Vaughn says, when the gimmick for next gen is SSDs and faster load times, Microsoft doesn't really need to reveal much right now, but they do need some press. That is a good point because they're not in the press and the PS5 is all over the press. We don't talk about Xbox Scarlet at all. So that is the biggest problem I have is that you're just not talked about.
Yeah, but you see, it's weird. I feel like there's a little bit of a double standard when it comes to these companies. Sony's being very open, they're being very vocal with the PS5, Microsoft's being secretive, and Nintendo was radio silent until October and released the Switch in March. And that worked in their favor because the lead up time from reveal to launch was so small that it was constant. That hype went from reveal to launch. And then you had January with the launch event, and that helped them. And if Microsoft can do something similar next year with the Xbox, they'll be going into their launch with a lot more momentum than Sony, who sat there saying, well, we talked about it a year and a half ago because we didn't have The Last of Us 2 yet.
Yeah, but the thing with the Switch is it was so drastically different from everything else around it.
We don't know what Microsoft is doing.
I mean, we assume. I mean, they've already said it's going to be, this powerful system with SSD. They basically counter whatever Sony says something like, oh yeah, we're going to do that too.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Last time, I said the last E3 that they were going to be similar specs and ideas and everything. I mean, you never know. They could do something crazy, but I doubt it. I guess we'll see. Richard Shadow, no message. Thanks, Richard. And I think we're just about done. Core says Sonic Colors for Switch port.
I was going to bring up Colors earlier. It's a great game.
It is. Yeah. It's probably one of the best 3D Sonics.
What do you think about it, Jordan?
Time to unleash.
Yeah, I owned it.
I owned it. Oh.
Ruffle Mutt says Pro Jared is back. Just released a new video, Final Fantasy V.
He's been back. So.
Infernal Tim says Friday the 13th Switch release of the year. Sean's not here for that. He's not even here for it. He probably put that message in and was like, I'm gonna agree with Sean. Sean's be all excited. Sean's not even here. He just yesterday.
Don't even tell him when he gets back. It'll be fine.
Okay. So Evan's girlfriend says, can't wait to play Splatoon with my bae.
More money for us. Excellent.
Evan Reed says, isn't it odd there's been no talk about Pathologic 2 for awards? Seems like another meta game critics would love, but no nods at all.
What was the game?
Pathologic 2.
Sounds like it just got lost in the shuffle. One of a lot of games that do.
I think it's just a lot of them. I guess there's some that didn't play. I'm still that actually did get very good reviews though. You're right, Pathologic 2. I'm still more torn on the whole Jedi situation. That's really frustrating that wasn't even up there. Zaire Miller said about 20 hours in Persona 4 Golden, really liking the characters and the mystery story. That is a game that benefits heavily from being on a handheld like the Vita. So that is a long game.
Game is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a long game. Sakon 10 says, to all, what's your favorite Mega Man game? I'm going to say Mega Man X3.
I like X1.
X2.
I'm a really old
X1
man,
all
so
the time.
I just love Mega Man 2 on the NES.
Okay.
That's my jam.
Mega Man
So
X
good.
series is good. Mega Man X, and then also like Mega Man X1 and Mega Man X3. I can't pick between Mega Man X1 too.
A lot of people really like 4. I know that, but I just really like 3 because that was when you could really control Zero for the first time, and it was kind of limited, but it was really, really cool. And there was a lot of hidden things in 3 that I liked. You could get the golden armor. You were able to get Zero's saber, which was really, really cool. And it didn't have like the Hadouken or the uppercut from Street Fighter, but it still had a lot to it that I really liked. And you got all the mechs. There was a lot to that game for the Super Nintendo days.
Mega Man X was just when you saw him in that armor for the first time, you're like, "What the?" You thought it was a revolution. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm just gonna go with Mega Man X because there was nothing like that back then. You're like, "Holy." It was like
That was the glory
ever.
of the 16-bit days, man. It was so easy to be impressed.
When you
It
saw
was
him
so
jumping,
exciting.
When you saw him like that jumping, you're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
bro. This is
next
gonna be
level,
epic.
man. It was.
Don't even get me
so
started on Mega Man. You know what? I'm just gonna...
Sorry, Jordan.
Stop it.
What's your favorite,
Stop it,
Mega
Jordan.
Man game, Jordan?
Sonic Colors.
You better say something weird like Battle Network or something, Jordan.
Yeah, I played a Battle Network.
Your favorite Mega Man game? Mighty Number 9.
Oh, no.
No.
What about, Sean, what's your favorite Mega Man game?
I don't really have one.
Okay. What was the one you enjoyed playing the most?
I mean, they're all very all the mainline Mega Mans are pretty similar. Then you have the offshoot games that incorporate different elements and stuff.
Are you stalling to pick one right now?
I mean, I don't really have like Mega Man is a series that I never really fell in love with or anything.
It's okay. It's okay. Just say if you don't know, just say Mega Man 2. You can get away with it.
Yes.
Anyone can say Mega Man 2 and you're good.
Because I mean, they incorporated the slide in that one, so
Mega Man Fex.
Boom.
That music,
Nice.
man. They never topped the music from Mega Man 2, in my opinion. It was the best.
Miss Click, what was your favorite Mega Man game?
She's too young.
It's not that I'm too young. It's genuinely that it's a game that I just played once and was like, I'm bored, so I never touched another one.
All right.
It
then.
happens. It happens.
Which Mega Man game was that?
Happens.
Dude, I don't know. It's like I randomly go over to someone's house. Hey, this is Mega Man. Cool. Can you put in a different game? Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Sorry.
All right,
I'll
then.
play it eventually.
The X Legacy
Just
Collection.
complete silence.
The X Legacy Collection. Pick it up. It's worth it. It's got all the Mega Man X games on there. Stay
One
away
day.
from X7. Don't have to worry about that. Just start with X1 and work your way up. They're good games. They don't take long to play. It's like an hour or two.
I think after
Wait, really?
7, they're like,
That's
"Shit,
short?
anymore."
No. If you get your hold up for a new person getting into the
Okay,
franchise.
start Mega Man X. Start with Chill Penguin, and you're good.
Chill Penguin. What is this? Club Penguin?
Yeah.
Mega Man
Chill-
Edition?
No.
Before, it was Club Penguin before Club Penguin. Okay.
It was.
I never played
Not
Club
Chill
Penguin,
Penguin.
so I have no idea. Okay.
The X Legacy Collection has all the Mega Man X games, and it's worth X1 and 2 collection, right? It's like a combo pack. You can get them. It's worth it though. I like the X games.
Mm.
Yes. And then Zaire Miller, thank you for that. I was going for to all. Who was your favorite Mega Man game? And then we have Skylar Neon said, "May I join you on cam?" We usually don't take donations for people coming on, but we'll pass your information along to Evan and he can check it out. There you go. Evan,
That's what we call passing the rejection.
Evan's like, what?
He was literally nodding no as you were talking.
No.
He was just like,
Thomas Sullivan says, do you think that the PS5 will have a 2 terabyte SSD? I think it might.
No.
Maybe. You don't think so? Maybe 500? 500?
Hell no, 500
A $600 one, maybe.
maybe, but not 2 terabytes.
Mr. L says one of my favorite soundtracks of the year was River City Girls. Give it a listen.
I wanted that looked so good. That game looked really good.
That soundtrack is amazing too.
yeah.
Oh, jeez. And then the twist says RGT85, would you sing Private Dancer?
I'm your private dancer for money.
Well, we're done for this week. Thanks, guys, for watching.
People forget, if you go to too many games and see Sean, he kills it on karaoke.
I do.
He does. He gets after it.
Yeah, kills it as and everyone leaves the room.
Well,
but-
hold on. Sean, what did you? No, Sean. What'd you sing last time at too many games?
It was was it 2 times ago?
Yeah, it was 2 times ago. Well,
Yeah,
it was,
what'd you
Die, Die, My Darling.
Yeah. He gets it.
Great
He gets
song.
after it.
Great
Yeah.
song.
It's got a preview.
Yeah.
You gotta sell tickets.
It's
Is it the original version of the Metallica?
the internet can't handle that. You got to come see him live.
I like the Metallica version because it's a bit faster and it has, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, the energy, man.
Then Mega Nerd says SNES X3 and X6 have and then X6 have the best soundtrack. Metal inspiration. Yes, Mega Man X has some awesome soundtrack. Definitely some good songs.
The whole series has great music.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then we had a few on Streamlabs. We'll go around and finish up. Ibrahim says, following the drama of Pokemon, Death Stranding, and TGA, do you feel like the community being angry at everything is just the norm now? And where could that lead us to? Also, hi, Rob. And
hi.
Don't leave YouTube, he said.
Okay, I won't. I won't leave YouTube.
Okay.
Confirmed.
It's popular to be mad at a lot of stuff, so maybe I don't know. I guess that's just kind of the way it is online now. But we'll see what happens with the Game Awards. I think a lot of people are assuming that Death Stranding is going to win Game of the Year. Like it's already won. When I think there are better games in the category that'll win.
I truly don't think it's going to win, and I really like the game, but I actually don't think it's going to win. And it could be really crazy if it does, but
I think now it's open for everybody else to vote. I think people are going to make sure they're darndest that they're not going to vote for it.
I do think RE2 will probably win, but if Death Stranding did win, that would be something else to see online. So
it sure would be. There might not ever be a Game Awards again.
I mean, I just think it's different, right? Like you guys do daily content and it's your job to like compare games because you played a whole variety, and it's your job to critique things, but necessarily like you may present it in a more animated manner than you really necessarily feel about the game sometimes. And I feel like a lot of people take what creators and reviewers say and they tend to like magnify it into where like now it's like everybody's an expert on every game, and if someone says one thing is wrong, that's literally their echo chamber. And so it's like people are just now checking out games years later because they're like, oh, I was told that game's really bad, and all of a sudden it's considered a classic. It's like you should have just tried it for yourself at the beginning and not listen to your favorite YouTuber or your favorite review group.
You know
it's
what?
like
I have to give Nate some credit here because I did not think Nate was going to try Death Stranding, and he redboxed it and he liked it. So I will give Nate credit on that one. I was positive that Nate was not going to try Death Stranding.
Oh, I had no interest in the game whatsoever leading up to it. I mean, I was very vocal about I critique that game every turn leading up to release.
Yeah, that's why I was very surprised you did it, but you did and you liked it. So there you go. You know what? Redbox might be a good option if you just want to try it out for a little bit. And hey, if you don't like it, at least you tried it. So there you go. I mean, even Sean tried the game,
and he bought a baby.
I'm still playing it. I'm just kind of passing my time through it. I play for like an hour or two, and then
if you don't like the game, can I have baby?
Give me the baby.
Can I have
I
baby?
bought the game for the fucking baby.
Miss Quick is asking you to give her a baby. How many women ask
Nate, stop!
This is gaming adoption, all right? She needs a baby. She's got baby fever. You gotta mail it to her.
Oh my god!
Any chick asking for a baby? Hell no.
This chick is good for a baby.
Matthew Hammond said the Mr. Rogers movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, was really good with Tom Hanks. It was unfortunate that Tencent funded part of it. Tencent funds everything.
That comment took a turn. I did not expect that.
It turned into really good. Tencent funds a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of things people don't realize Tencent funds.
Everybody's spamming pregnate.
Pregante.
It's pregante, yeah.
Do you guys not have any friends that are girls in real life? Chat. Is this the first
That's
time?
a call out.
Chat exposed.
Yeah. Like, are you like?
She put her glasses on. She was like, "I'm gonna get sassy and go right at him."
Like, you know, this is not gonna end. You know, it's online, right?
Yeah.
This is the closest they ever
Poor
get to
chat.
girls watching it on.
Poor chat.
Poor chat.
Poor chat.
I'm joking, chat. I'm joking.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Like, wait a minute.
Hold on. Joking.
So it said, I cannot confirm or deny that.
Oh, here we go. This is for Jordan. I see it. I can already feel it, Jordan. This one's for you. You ready? Mr.
ahead.
Kane, no, seriously, this is good. Mr. Kane says, any thoughts on the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Special Edition? Looks like there is a fun and shiny edition. Fun edition is $2.99.
Yep, I've already made a video on that over a month ago. It's way too overpriced, but I'll probably still get it.
Well, no, yeah, but I mean, the game's looking good, right? You're excited for it.
Yes, absolutely. Game looks fantastic. And the
Anybody
build that
want
we've
Fire
seen,
Emblem?
the build that we have seen when they first showed it off is such an old build of the game. Like the way it looks now is unbelievable.
Okay. And then Hybrid said, would it be possible to guest Some Call Me Johnny for the SpawnCast? Actually met him at Too Many Games, so we'll talk to him, see if we can get him on the podcast. Mr. Sadface says, 38 plus 2 weeks pregnant.
That viral video where it's like, it's bad. It's bad like Yahoo Answers, and it's like 38 plus 2 equals pregnant.
And then David Valdez says, shout out to OJ supporting the SpawnCast.
What's up, David? What's up, homie? How you doing, man?
And I think that's it for the SpawnCast tonight. Thanks everyone for joining me. Let me go around here. Rob, thanks for joining us tonight. Where can they find you, man?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube and also on Twitter at Rule of Two Review.
Okay, that's good. Jordan, you see this? This is the Fen misclicks on it.
Yeah, Uncle Ted is the white knight in a white van.
Jordan, you need to control your uncle.
Oh, man.
Yep. It's hilarious.
Rob, sorry, Rob. did we get to
okay, that was important. That was important. That was
everyone's links are down below as well. Rob, do you want to let them know where they can find you?
Yeah, at Rule of Two Review on YouTube and Twitter. So that's it.
Okay.
Rule of number 2.
Then OJ, where can they find you, man?
Yeah, you can find me right here on Player Essence. Just type in Player Essence. You'll see it there. Also, Twitter at Player Essence. I got a new channel. We're giving away Nintendo Switch. It's comedy, funny videos. So if you like comedy, funny videos, and me doing stupid stuff, it's that there. OJX. Yeah, we're giving away Switch. So just type in OJX. You'll see it there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Subscribe.
Max. Oh, yep,
we need
Max.
2,000 subscribers. Sorry. We need 2,000 subscribers. Everybody subscribe to my channel, OJX. So yeah.
Max, where can they find you, man?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. I have some pretty cool videos coming up next week, but the biggest thing is I'm going to be doing my own little top 10 games of 2019. Should be really fun. That'll be up on Thursday, and the secret game I'm reviewing, I also think I'm allowed to talk about on Thursday. The game comes out next Friday, so it'll be fun. It'll be a last-minute RPG, so it should be great. Thank you, everybody. The channel's still just been really blowing up, so I just want to say thank you, everybody. Holy hell, I'm just kind of blown away.
Cool. And then Miss Click, what about you? Where can they find you?
Nowhere, because I'm deleting all my channels.
Oh, man.
Wow. Nah, you can find me on YouTube as Miss Click Gaming, or you can find me on Twitch every day as MissClick_live, or literally every single social media that MissClickGaming.com. Everything's there.
And you're about to go out in the living room, and he's gonna have built like a whole metropolis, and
I'm about to go check, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna have 5 stars with every single person.
My one buddy just finished 5 stars with everyone today. It was awesome.
Oh wow,
dude! I'm pretty sure he's already surpassed my level I had at the end of the game.
And then
not even joking.
Jordan, where can they find you, man?
Sometimes I make YouTube content. But you can find me streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/JordanFringe.
All right, very cool. Sean?
You can find me RGT85 on the interweb. I have a book out on Amazon. Please
Is it still on sale? Is it still on sale?
It's still on sale. $17.17 or something like that. And if you buy it and you enjoy it, please leave a review. If you buy it and you don't enjoy it, please leave a review. Somebody left a 1-star review because they said that I put him in timeout on SpawnCast.
I'm the one that does that.
When have you ever seen me put someone in timeout on SpawnCast? That's my question. It's like
good book review.
People say horrible fucking things about me. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Fuck.
Oh my gosh. Nate, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at DirectFeedGames. Link to my YouTube channel can be found there. And I have a second channel that is called Nate the Hate. Also has a Twitter account that is at Nate the Hate, followed by the number 2.
It's a solid thing to follow. You should all follow it.
It is. I yell at people consistently in videos and tell people to be better at life. I'm a motivational speaker.
It's a motivational channel.
One way to say it. Okay. You're going to be putting out more Nate to Hate videos, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas I've been stewing on. I was going to do one this week, but with the holiday and everything, I was like, I'll wait till next week to yell at people for being idiots. So Monday, I will scold the fools of the interwebs.
Oh man. What about MVG? Where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G, YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. Got some cool videos coming up over the next couple of weeks to really finish strong through the end of the year. Giving away the NVIDIA Shield TV Pro. There's 2 days left on that competition, so just check out my Twitter. There's a competition link if you want to get entered on that. And that's about it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, and then Evan, about you, man?
Just follow me on Kimmerix Project at Twitter. I think the link's just below. You can check that out. If anything's happening, I'll talk about it there.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's do it here for SpawnCast episode 139, and we'll see you guys next weekend, where apparently we'll talk about Sayonara Wild Hearts, I guess, for part of it. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you guys then.
Bye.